Dou Po is the first novel I have read. Let's start with Dou Po. I hope it can be written well and not eunuchs. Keywords of the novel. I take the system to travel through Dou Po without pop-ups. I take the system to travel through Dou Po to download the complete set of TXT, and I take the system to travel through Dou Po to read the latest chapters. Chapter 1. Crossing and Fighting. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Crossing and Fighting. Oh my god. When can I break through the fighter at this speed? Not to mention in the future, it's all about delivering food. Heng, sitting cross-legged on the bed, was furious and powerless. That's right, Heng is also a member of the army of travelers, and he also traveled to a novel he loves very much. Dou Po, he has written novels 3 times. That day, there were no clouds for thousands of miles, and the sky was clear for thousands of miles. Then he had a car accident. Oh my goodness. I really like this novel, but I didn't say I have to travel through it. Do you have to get what you like? I don't mind if I insist on crossing over. Can you give me a better golden finger at least? How can I just mess around with this broken golden finger? Didn't you force me to embarrass my army of travelers? Heng had a distressed expression on his face. As a traveler, he also had his own golden finger, but this golden finger was a bit inferior to someone else's check that in. Golden finger has included some martial arts skills from previous Blue Star martial arts novels, but that's martial arts. This is fantasy. It's not even at the same level. At the beginning of the game, Jin Shoji presented a book of innate skills and a foundation in martial arts. And then it's gone. This is not bad, especially when he saw that the innate skill was of the Xian level and advanced level. Unlike the local martial arts in this continent, this skill can be practiced from a young age, without waiting for a fighter. The foundation of martial arts is also like this. Huang Jie's high-level fighting skills can be practiced from a young age, but there are not many major moves that are all basic. The function of the golden finger is also very simple. It has a row of martial arts catalogs, including Lingbo micro-steps and Biming divine arts, but it cannot be exchanged. It's all gray. There is a panel, but it is also very simple, only displaying its basic information. Host. Heng cultivation. Utan of Dou Ji Li cultivation method. Congenital skill, Xian level advanced, fighting skills. Basic martial arts skills, Huang Jia advanced, golden finger has no intelligence at all, as if it is just a store without a salesperson, without any introduction, and cannot be bought. This year is already his 12th year in this world. Just a month ago, Heng witnessed Xiao Yan fall from the altar. He is not actually the bloodline of the Xiao family, he is just an orphan picked up by the Xiao family. For orphans like him, the Xiao family still has many. They pick up these orphans, give them stuttering, and then see if they have cultivation talent. Those with good talent will be provided for cultivation, while those with low talent will be divided into various markets to work for the Xiao family. Heng had good luck. At the age of 5, he detected a good talent. Of course, this was good because in the city of Utan, he couldn't compare with Xiao Yan. In fact, his talent is also quite good, but his innate skills focus on building foundations, and his cultivation speed is slow. After being systematically modified to suit the martial arts of Duki continent, his essence cannot be changed. Otherwise, his cultivation speed may be much stronger than Xiao Ning and Xiao Mei. After complaining for a while, Heng also stabilized. He has never been a person who complains about others. To be honest, everyone wants to dominate the world, and he is the same. So when he came to this world, he also had a hint of joy. His past life was also ordinary, and he had dreams when he was young, but in the end, he was also shattered by reality. Now that I'm here, although I'm scared, I'm not afraid either. For someone who has died once, there is nothing to be afraid of, right? Continuing to close his eyes, it was still night. After breaking through the fourth stage of Dou Li, he could use cultivation to replace sleep, and the effect was better than sleeping. It has to be said that in some places, innate skills are indeed unique. With the operation of the innate skill, there seemed to be an invisible vortex in the surrounding air, surging towards Xiao Heng's body. Unfortunately, although many of the surging could be transformed into Xiao Heng's own strength through the transformation of the innate skill, only a trace. One night without a word the next day, as the sun rose, Xiao Heng slowly opened his eyes. Next, his task is to cultivate basic martial arts skills. He planned to cultivate innate skills at night and basic martial arts skills during the day. After the age of 6, he has been strictly following this requirement to fulfill himself. To be honest, if it weren't for the fear of being squeezed by society in his past life, he really couldn't hold on. Many times, he also wanted to give up, but when he thought about this world, he persisted. He had already lived a life dominated by others. Would he have to do it again? Around noon, he walked out of his small courtyard. In the eyes of the Xiao family, his talent was quite good, so they gave him an independent courtyard. Although it was not so luxurious, it was also quiet. In addition, there is a monthly subsidy of 5 gold coins for him to live on. In addition, the Xiao family has arranged a martial arts instructor, but he hasn't been there for a few years. To be honest, the Duqi continent has become stronger, but for basic martial arts, it is not very exquisite, and for children in their teens, what can be taught? So he didn't go much after a few years, and the Xiao family is more tolerant of talented children. Based on the current cultivation speed, he will at least be a martial artist in the future. So it's okay if he doesn't go after calculating the time, it's time for dinner. The Xiao family has a dedicated cafeteria, which is free and can also be considered a benefit. After all, there are many people in this world who cannot eat enough. Hello, brother Xiao Heng. It's Xiao Mu. You come to eat too. Brother Xiao Heng, I heard you have broken through the power of the 5 Dan Dou. A young and inexperienced child, who was slightly shorter than Xiao Heng, took the initiative to greet him and then asked enviously. Xiao Heng smiled and said, I broke through a few days ago. Wow. Brother Xiao Heng is really amazing. If only I were as amazing as brother Xiao Heng. Xiao Mu's eyes were filled with envy as the news was confirmed. He and Xiao Heng went into the Xiao family together, half a year younger than Xiao Heng, but now they only had a 3-dan fighting spirit. Although the difference is not significant, it is not so easy to break through. You can achieve it by working hard. Come on. Brother Xiao Heng, I will work hard. Xiaomu, have you eaten yet? Do you want to come together? Brother Xiao Heng, I've eaten it before. You go quickly. Otherwise, it's almost gone. Well, then I'll go over. Goodbye. Goodbye, brother Xiao Heng. Along the way, many people greeted him and Xiao Heng responded one by one. Based on his good talent, the Xiao family and other adopted children have a good attitude towards him. However, Xiao Heng's relationship with everyone was average. Imagine how an adult male could have a deep emotional connection with a bunch of children. Arriving at the specialized cafeteria of the Xiao family, there were not many people left in the cafeteria, and Xiao Heng didn't quite know a few scattered people. After a hasty meal, Xiao Heng walked towards the market outside the Xiao family. He needs to buy some herbs, although they are all low-level herbs, they are also valuable to him. When he arrived at Fengshe, Xiao Heng walked straight towards the pharmacy. Boss, a 10-year-old Ningyuan grass, a white fruit, a black grass, and a 10-year-old white ginseng. Okay. Wait a moment, I'll go get it for you in the back hall. The boss is a middle-aged man, smiling and looking very kind. I didn't see Xiao Heng looking down on him at a young age. Say hello and go get him some herbs. While Xiao Heng was waiting for the boss to bring the herbs, a not particularly burly man walked in. Xiao Heng pays respects to the clan chief. Seeing the middle-aged man entering, Heng immediately saluted him. This person is the head of the Xiao family, Xiao. At this moment, Xiao didn't seem so happy. But he still responded to Heng. Oh. I remember you, little one, Heng, right? You have 5 levels of fighting power at the age of 12, not bad, not bad. You also come and buy medicinal herbs. Well, Chief, I'm here to buy some medicinal herbs for cultivation. At this moment, the boss also walked out. As soon as he saw Xiao, he immediately bowed, Your Highness, clan leader. No need to be polite. I'll just take a look and you'll be busy. Yes, my lord, the boss responded and turned to Heng. This is your medicinal herb, totaling 42 gold coins. Heng paid and took the medicinal herbs. Then he spoke up and said, Your Highness, I'm leaving now. Xiao glanced at Heng and then seemed to think of something else. He said, You can change it to 15 gold coins per month in the future. Just go and collect it next month. I will tell them. Heng didn't expect to have such a good thing after coming out. With more money, his cultivation could also be faster. Thank you, Lord Clan Leader. Xiao looked at the figure of Heng leaving and thought to himself, Heng has a good talent. Yenner now. Hey. Maybe he'll have to protect Yenner a little more in the future. Thinking of his own son, bitterness permeated from the bottom of his heart. This month, he tried every means possible, but still couldn't find the reason why Xiao Yan's fighting spirit had disappeared. This also forced him to consider his son's future. With a sigh, Xiao also left the pharmacy. After returning to the small courtyard, Heng immediately took out all the medicinal herbs. This was the formula in the innate skill, and the system was also changed to the prescription of Dou continent. As is well known, the way to distinguish top experts in the martial arts world is to see if he has opened the Ren Du 2 meridians. However, Hengqi's 8 meridians only have the Ren Du 2 meridians that have not been opened yet. He has tried many times, but still almost, so he plans to use a medicinal bath to stimulate and see if it can be opened. Once Ren Du's 2 meridians are connected, his cultivation speed will definitely increase by more than twice. All the necessary materials for the medicinal bath have been prepared, and the next step is to see if you can get through it. The process of making a medicinal bath is very simple, and compared to the refining technique of Dou continent, it is indeed not as simple. Just put the medicinal herbs in different orders at the appropriate temperature. Because the medicinal herbs he needed were not so advanced, it gave him a glimmer of hope. For the production of medicinal baths, Heng had already simulated it countless times in his mind, and coupled with the fact that it was not very difficult, he only succeeded once. Looking at the almost boiling green liquid in front of him, Heng's face showed a painful expression. I muttered to myself, this thing won't cook me well, will it? I'm not afraid of anything, the big deal is death, and my luck has always been good. Damn it. With his eyes closed, Heng stripped off his clothes and jumped into the tank. With the operation of innate skills, the medicine in the tank boiled like bubbles. Heng clenched his teeth and let out a growl in his throat, which was not loud, but it was evident that he was not relaxed. The pure medicinal power circulates in Heng's body one after another along the path of innate skill, and is then absorbed by the body. Sleeping in bed, how could it hurt so much? He can't bear it. If it's not successful, I really want to die. Immediately, the innate skill was fully utilized, and the surging energy continued to gush towards the Ren and Du meridians. Shit. With the failure of the first impact, Heng accumulated more and more energy in his body, and the pain he suffered also became stronger. Heng roared low, but still did not give up, continuing to fully utilize his innate skills. If not successful, it will be benevolent. The craziness in his bones surged out, and Heng opened his blood-red eyes and quickly operated his martial arts. Boom! Ren Dou's 2 meridians were successfully broken. The entire cylinder collapsed, and Xiao Heng breathed a sigh of relief. Then, his breath surged, with 5 levels of fighting power intermediate, advanced, 6 levels of fighting power low, intermediate, advanced, 7 levels of fighting power low, intermediate. After reaching the intermediate level of the 7th level, the fighting power gradually stabilizes and eventually stays at a lower level. It's done, no wonder. As soon as Ren Dou's 2 meridians are connected, he becomes a master. Now, not only have I broken through 2 stages of Dou Qi, but my cultivation speed is at least 2 to 3 times faster than before. He is extremely excited now, with 2 to 3 times his cultivation speed. Even if he practices normally, he still hopes to reach Dou Wang. Call up the panel, the books on it are still gray, but 2 new things appear, 1 skill point and 1 energy point. At this moment, Xiao Heng's eyes lit up. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. 3 Years of Time. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2 3 Years of Time. The newly emerged functions of the system ignited a raging fire in Xiao Heng's heart. This world is never fair, some things are predetermined from birth. With his eyes closed, Xiao Heng began to continue his cultivation. With a faster pace of cultivation, he became even more fascinated by it. This feeling is like playing a qualifying game in a previous life, enjoying a lot of excitement, and now I only know how to win and not lose. That feeling can only be described in one word. Cool. Ah. Although I haven't figured out how to add energy in skill points or what they will be useful for now, it doesn't affect Xiao Heng's good mood. Today is a good day. It's a beautiful day to go out with a good mood, hummed a song, and Xiao Heng began his journey of cultivation beautifully. Hey. It's possible that dinner time has already passed, otherwise we can still have a free meal. After Xiao Heng finished his cultivation, it was almost dark and the Xiao family naturally had nothing to eat. Fortunately, he would reserve some dry food at any time. This is also related to his habit of forgetting to eat while practicing at any time, as he has become accustomed to it. After eating dry food, Xiao Heng went out to the small courtyard and began to play with his martial arts skills. There is not much knowledge in the basics of martial arts, but it is not so easy to complete. Firstly, the horse stance must be completed for 3 consecutive hours without the need for fighting energy. Then, it came to fist techniques, then leg techniques, then capture, and finally weapons. Just like in a person's martial arts world, first punch, then leg, and then capture, 3 in 1, before advancing weapons. After years of cultivation, Xiao Heng has already practiced his fists and legs quite well. Next, he will be capturing, and then he will combine his 3 senses to learn weapons. Time always passes quickly, especially during the cultivation process. Unconsciously, 3 years have already passed. Open the panel. Xiao Heng murmured silently in his heart. The black and white panel appeared in front of Xiao Heng, of course, only he could see it. Host. Xiao Heng Cultivation. Douzhe San Xing Cultivation Method. Congenital Skill, Xian Level Advanced, Fighting Skills. Fundamentals of Martial Arts, Yellow Level Advanced, Skill Point. 16 Energy Point. 40 After 3 years of exploration, Xiao Heng has already found the role of skill points and energy points. Skill points can be used to enhance the level of martial arts or combat skills. When upgrading, there must be a combination of similar martial arts or combat skills, which is equivalent to complementarity, and then upgrading. And energy points are used to exchange for martial arts secrets in the Golden Finger. At the same time, energy points can also upgrade certain special items to not infinite, and only target items, not anything with intelligence. In the past 3 years, due to Xiao Heng's display of many talents, he also gained a lot of attention in the Xiao family, and thus obtained some combat skills. He replaced these combat skills with skill points one by one. Mainly, those fighting skills are not as useful as basic martial arts. So why keep it if it's not changed? Does it look good? Although he has also shown a lot of talent, it has not been fully exposed. I remember the last time he tested his fighting spirit, he only showed the strength of the 7th dan of fighting power, just like Xiao Ning. Only in this way, the Xiao family still gave him a new courtyard and specially arranged people to take care of his clothing, food, housing, and transportation. The monthly allowance also increased to 100 gold coins. I don't know how much better than before. Of course, as Xiao Zhan treated him well, he also basically enjoyed the treatment of the core disciples of the Xiao family. Of course, the premise of this treatment is that he has had a good relationship with Xiao Yan in recent years, and occasionally helps Xiao Yan when he is bullied. I swear. I definitely don't want to hug the protagonist's thigh, I just want to give some help to my idol. Tomorrow, with the test of fighting spirit, Xiao Yan's rise will begin from tomorrow. Xiao Heng's eyes flickered. My heart is filled with anticipation. He stayed in Utan City because he waited for the enrollment of Canaan College a year later, and also because he wanted to see Xiao Yan stand up with his own eyes. He is very interested in this. Xiao Yan, Dou Li Sanduan. The ending was still the same. Looking at Xiao Yan's angry yet powerless appearance, and also at the attitude of the Xiao family towards Xiao Yan before and now, Xiao Heng secretly made up his mind to work hard to cultivate and not be underestimated. Waving his hand at Xiao Yan, he walked towards Xiao Heng with a dejected expression on his face. In the past 3 years, due to Xiao Zhan's desire for Xiao Heng to take care of Xiao Yan more in the future, the news between him and Xiao Yan has also improved significantly. However, he has never comforted Xiao Yan, only treating him as an ordinary friend. It is precisely because of Xiao Heng's attitude towards him that Xiao Yan also regards this person as his friend. When a person is in despair, perhaps what they need is not comfort, because comfort only makes them more desperate. Xiao Heng, you're here too. Xiao Yan's tone was very depressed. I'll also see if there's any progress lately. Xiao Heng smiled and spoke in a calm tone. Well, let me also see what kind of strength you are, the second genius of the Xiao family. Xiao Yan's tone was somewhat self-deprecating. The testing speed was still very fast, so it was soon Xiao Heng's turn. Next, Xiao Heng. The palm is pressed against the stone wall, and the innate function in the body is activated. Xiao Heng, Dou Li, 8 sections. Advanced. The testers were clearly surprised. The people below are also discussing it one after another. That's Xiao Heng. The unparalleled genius picked up by the family. Yeah, my cultivation is actually the same as that of young Master Xiao Ning. I heard he's even younger than young Master Xiao Ning. Isn't that even more talented than young Master Xiao Ning? Shoo, keep it down. Didn't you see that young Master Xiao Ning's face isn't very good? Upon hearing everyone's discussion, Xiao Ning's face in the audience was not very good. It's this Xiao Heng again. Xiao Ning looked angrily at the person on stage and couldn't help but clench his fist. He will eventually let these people know that Xiao Ning is the most talented person in the Xiao family. Next up, Xiao Suner. As the sound of Dou Li Judan came out, the whole room boiled again. Let's go. As soon as Xiao Heng stepped down, Xiao Yan said to him. Don't wait for your little girlfriend anymore. Upon hearing Xiao Heng's obvious teasing, Xiao Yan remained unmoved. No, I'm not what I used to be now. His tone was full of frustration. But the fact was not as he had hoped. The little girl with a fairy-like appearance ran towards Xiao Yan as soon as she saw him. It seems you have something else to do, so I'll come to you again next time. Xiao Heng smiled, his tone full of teasing, but there was no trace of envy or jealousy. He is not the protagonist yet. You guy. He hammered Xiao Heng hard, and Xiao Yan was also quite happy. And Xiao Heng pretended to feel pain for a while, then made a few jokes with Xiao Yan before waving his hand and leaving. He doesn't have much contact with Xiao Suner now. And, my friend's wife, it's better to stay away. Go back to your yard, pick up your sword, and play the basic swordsmanship of basic martial arts. No combat power was used, but the wooden sword still left significant marks wherever it passed through. In the past 3 years, he became proficient in capturing in the first year and then began practicing weapons. However, despite his daily perseverance in the past 2 years, he still did not achieve the unity of 3 intentions. The combination of heart and strength, strength and chi and intention. How can one achieve it? He didn't have that much time. If it weren't for the sole heavenly emperor, he could have taken his time, but he didn't want to live another life and still have to be controlled by others. In the next few days, he continued to cultivate his foundation, but still made no progress. Silently reciting the panel, it appeared before his eyes. Many of the books among them have already been illuminated. Heng looked at one of the books. In his previous life, he had a special fondness for the Ghost Valley Gate in vertical and horizontal swordsmanship. 100 schools of thought have upheld me. He also wants to dominate the world. Exchange for vertical and horizontal swordsmanship, Heng silently recited in his heart. Subsequently, the energy points rapidly decreased from 40 to 4, resulting in a total deduction of 36 energy points from him. You should know that a first-order magic core is only worth 3 to 5 points. This is all his savings over 3 years, and there are many other cultivation resources provided by the Xiao family that have only raised 40 points. Now it's all gone. With the disappearance of energy points, all the content about the vertical and horizontal swordsmanship came to mind. The vertical and horizontal sword technique has a higher level of xian, which can be divided into vertical swords and horizontal swords, each of which is a middle level of xian. The ultimate move of the vertical sword is the 100-step flying sword, and the ultimate move of the horizontal sword is the crossing of all directions. Hold a vertical sword in the left hand and a horizontal sword in the right hand. Heng closed his eyes and began to use his sword as he read the book page by page. Due to his good foundation in swordsmanship, Heng successfully used his sword moves until the final move. Although the fighting spirit in his body gradually dissipated, Heng continued to steadily pass it through specific muscles and finally penetrate the sword. 2 black and white ink dragons, entwined on their swords, and then cut out with both swords. Sparks splattered everywhere, and the stones made a piercing sound when rubbed, before the sword light disappeared. And the half-person tall stone in front of him has turned into 4. The cutting surface is very flat. And the wooden sword in his hand was only left with the hilt. Ha! 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 Heng half knelt on the ground. Sweating profusely, panting heavily. My 2 hands are still on the ground, supporting my body. The blow just now drained all his fighting spirit, but the effect it achieved also surprised him. Ha! It seems like we've found 2 better swords. Although tired, Heng's tone was full of excitement. Throwing the hilt aside, Heng struggled to stand up. As soon as Ku stood up, the sky turned and he felt dizzy, then he closed his eyes and fell to the ground. And while worrying about his own son, Xiao Zhan suddenly felt a fighting spirit at the level of a fighting master flash away in the Xiao family. Father, this is... Xiao Yan asked with some confusion when he saw Heng unconscious. Xiao Zhan shook his head and said, I'm not quite sure. This child seems to be practicing a powerful fighting skill. You take care of him first, and when he wakes up, you can ask him yourself. You still have to go finish it for him. He wasn't the only one who knew about the commotion just now, but since this little guy doesn't want others to know, he'll help them to the end. He is not the only one in the Xiao family who can the final say. Thinking of those guys, Xiao Zhan also felt a headache. And as Xiao Yan looked at Heng lying in bed, a blurry figure of the old man appeared gracefully. Teacher, what's wrong with Heng? It should be due to excessive consumption of fighting spirit and being drained at once, that's why it's like this. What's going to happen then? Xiao Heng has a good relationship with him, and he doesn't want Xiao Heng to have any problems. It's okay, just take a nap. I just don't know where his advanced fighting skills can take out his fighting energy in a moment. With his 3-star cultivation, his fighting skills must at least reach the Xian level or above, and he also needs those very good Xian level fighting skills. Teacher, are you saying that Xiao Heng only became like this by practicing advanced combat skills? Where did he come from? Knocking Xiao Yan's head, the old medicine man said angrily, how do I know? You can ask him yourself. Xiao Yan chuckled and suddenly realized something. Teacher, did you just say he was a fighter? Yes. The fighter is 3 stars. Yao Lao nodded. Xiao Yan fell silent for a moment and said, oh. I'm going to practice. Xiao Heng woke up and called me. Yao Lao shook his head, knowing that the child had been hit, he didn't say anything. It drifted back to the ring. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Divorce, Xiao Heng takes action. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Divorce, Xiao Heng takes action. It wasn't until the next morning that Xiao Heng slowly woke up. Opening the blanket and getting up, I saw Xiao Yan sitting cross-legged on the ground, and the fighting spirit of the air was constantly entering Xiao Yan's body. Has Yao Lao already woken up? That's right. With his comparison, Xiao Yan has also worked harder in recent years, so it's only natural for Yao Lao to wake up a few days earlier. Xiao Heng thought to himself. After a while, Xiao Yan also opened his eyes and said, you're awake. He then looked at Xiao Heng with a resentful expression. What's wrong with you, looking at me like this? I look strange. Xiao Yan patted his buttocks and stood up, continuing to look at him with a resentful expression. Ah. A person's heart is not ancient. It took up my bed all night, not to mention, and even practiced until the 3 stars of Dou, not to tell me. Hey. Don't look at me like that, okay? It's strange. I'm also afraid of hitting you. But now it should be okay, why? The reason why your fighting spirit disappeared has been found. Xiao Heng, who was also a good hand at shaking the pot, quickly shifted the topic away. I found it, and I paid my respects to a master who helped me heal. Don't worry, it won't be long before I surpass you. Although the tone was very plain, Xiao Heng could still hear the strong sense of resentment in that tone. I'm hungry, are you hungry? Xiao Heng pretended not to know what he was saying and forced to shift the topic. Seeing this, Xiao Yan had no other choice. All right. Young master, let's go have dinner together. But you have to treat us. Haha laughed and said, you really don't miss the opportunity. I don't have any money these days. Why don't you advance the payment first, young master Xiao, and I'll pay you back next month. Oh, sleeping trough, you shameless and shameless person. I was so blind that I recognized you as a friend. Damn it. Oh, my face can't be used as a meal. Since you've agreed to treat me to dinner, why not be shameless? I don't mind. Speak up. What are we eating? Puff. A mouthful of old blood spurted out from within. Xiao Yan was about to argue with this shameless guy again, but a knocking sound came from the door at that moment. Third young master, the clan chief, please go to the hall. All right. Upon hearing that Xiao Zhan was looking for him, Xiao Yan also gave up arguing with Xiao Heng, who was shameless. He said fiercely, you wait. Xiao Heng seemed to suddenly think of something. Wait, I'll go with you, said solemnly. Although Xiao Yan was puzzled why Xiao Heng suddenly became serious, he didn't expect anything to happen and didn't say anything, just nodded. Young master Xiao Heng, you are also here. With a smile, Xiao Heng said, Manager Mo, did the clan leader say anything? The old man in green shook his head. I'm not quite sure, it seems like a guest has arrived. Xiao Heng nodded and was basically certain that it was Yun Lanzong who came to withdraw from the marriage. He said, "Okay, we got it." Division line pushing the door open, the hall was already filled with people, but there were no more seats left. Xiao Heng didn't care, he just stood aside casually when he saw that there was no place. And Xiao Yan could have been assigned a position by someone, indicating that Xiao Heng was standing next to him. Now he is able to cultivate, so his mentality is much better than the original plot. Afterwards, the plot also proceeded smoothly. Guyi finished talking about all the conditions, and finally, "I hope that Chief Xiao can terminate this engagement." After saying these words, Xiao Zhan was already furious, and his fighting spirit surged out. The momentum of the Big Dipper suppressed everyone. Guyi also secretly manipulated his fighting spirit, ready to protect Naylan Yanran and leave at any time. The scene was very oppressive. Poor people who don't know why, still talking cold words beside them. Xiao Yan walked out and faced Naylan Yanran. Although angry, he still controls his emotions. Quietly, he said, "You are just bullying others because you see that my talent is not there. But what if my talent has already been restored? I wonder if you will regret it. 30 years east of the river, 30 years west of the river, don't deceive young people into poverty." Miss Naylan. Yen Air. You. Xiao Zhan wanted to say something. But it was interrupted by Xiao Yan. "Father, listen to me. Miss Naylan, I tell you that even if we want to terminate our engagement, it's not you who terminated it, but me, Xiao Yan, who divorced you. It's me, Xiao Yan, who doesn't want you anymore. Naylan Yanran, we have no further relationship after today, but please remember, it was I who took a break from you and I didn't want you. Don't talk nonsense when you go out in the future." After speaking, there was a hint of relief. As soon as these words were spoken, the whole audience looked at Xiao Yan in surprise. And Naylan Yanran's face was constantly changing. "Yener, you have grown up." Xiao Zhan smiled with relief. How dare you, show me. I am the proud daughter of Yunlan's sect, and you are just a waste. How do you deserve to show me?" Angry, he drew his long sword and stabbed Xiao Yan. No one expected Naylan Yanran to suddenly take action, except for Xiao Hengding. The crisp sound of sword touch came out, and Naylan Yanran's sword was only 1 inch away from Xiao Yan's chest, and no matter how hard she tried, she couldn't cross that inch because her sword tip was blocked horizontally by another Bing sword, and the hand holding that Bing sword was Xiao Heng's. "Miss Naylan, I don't mean to offend you, but if you want to take action now, why don't you let me play with you?" Xiao Heng smiled gently, but the strength on his sword was not small. "Yanran, put down your sword." Guyi was also frightened. "You know, this is in the Xiao family. If Xiao Zhan takes action, they will all die here. Although Yunlan's sect will not let the Xiao family go later, it will be the future." Upon hearing Guye's words, Naylan Yanran's face turned even worse. She had never received such an insult before. But after all, she is not a fool, knowing that this is not Yunlan's sect. Humph. Angered, he withdrew his sword. And Xiao Heng also turned his hand and inserted his sword back into the scabbard of the person who didn't even know the sword had been taken, and then Xiao Heng retreated back. Xiao Yan looked gratefully at Xiao Heng and then continued to say to Naylan Yanran, "Miss Naylan, I know you feel insulted, but I don't care, okay? 3 years later, I will personally go to Yunlan's sect to end all this. If I lose, you can handle it, but if you lose. If I lose, I will serve as a slave and be at your disposal. Also, if you lose, I don't want you to do anything. Just admit that you have been expelled." Before Xiao Yan could finish speaking, Naylan Yanran took over. "Elder Gu, let's go." He didn't say anything harsh anymore, but as he left, he gave Xiao Heng and Xiao Yan a fierce look. Yes. Guyi also knew that the situation was not good, so he retrieved everything from before. Then followed Nalan Yanran and left. At this point, the 3-year agreement was completed, but Xiao Yan's heart became much calmer. After Guyi left, there were still some people who were saying some cold words, saying that they shouldn't offend Yun Lanzong or something. Finally, Xiao Zhan ended this farce. "Brother Xiao Yan, you were so imposing just now," said the beautiful girl in a group of 3. "Why, only brother Xiao Yan is amazing. I am also amazing. If it weren't for me, your little lover would have been injured. Shouldn't you praise me? Don't speak recklessly, what's wrong with you, brother?" Xiao Yan calmed down and glanced at Xiao Heng, saying. However, Sun Er did not refute, but blushed and said, "Thank you, brother Xiao Heng." In the past 3 years, due to Xiao Heng often being with Xiao Yan, their relationship with Xiao Suner has also improved significantly. Xiao Heng chuckled and said, "Don't disturb the young couple anymore. I have something else to do, so I'll go back first." Goodbye, brother Xiao Heng." Xiao Yan didn't say anything, just nodded. Xiao Heng returned to the yard and just now a new feature appeared in his system. Calling out the panel, Xiao Heng was thrilled to see the new content appearing on the panel. Host. Xiao Heng Cultivation. 3-star Fighter Skill. Congenital Skill Fighting Skills. Fundamentals of Martial Arts, Vertical and Horizontal Swordsmanship Skill Point. 16 Energy Point. 4 Tiandao Point. 5, can be obtained by changing the plot, can be used for lottery, and can be drawn once per day. Xiao Heng was extremely excited about the newly emerged features. System, draw once. As Xiao Heng silently recited, the heavenly waypoints decreased slightly. And a virtual box opens. Black and white Xian Jian, a mid-level weapon in the Xian level that can be upgraded, sleeping slot, you're really lucky. Give it a try again. System, draw once. Then, another treasure chest opened. Subsequently, Xiao Heng felt his mind filled with a wealth of knowledge about medicinal herbs, as well as various single prescriptions ranging from 1st to 3rd grade. There were probably more than 20 types. More about various insights into refining medicine, of course, he hasn't even read those prescriptions yet, otherwise he might have fainted on the spot. System, 3 consecutive draws. White Lotus Fire 10 Kirin Fruits. Legend has it that the fruit grown from the blood of the Kirin can increase cultivation by eating it. 1 Doling 8-star card, using it can earn Doling cultivation for 1 hour. What a surprise. Xiao Heng was very happy. At that moment, he also had the capital to catch up with Xiao Yan, who was hanging on the wall. The system has drawn something and placed it in the system space. Unfortunately, the system space can only hold things obtained from the system. I'm not used to getting so many good things at once. Xiao Heng had also doubted the origin of the system before, but after careful consideration, he realized that if it were a big shot trying to trick him, he probably wouldn't need to do so. So he felt at ease with the system, and of course, he wouldn't rely entirely on it. Let's try black and white Xian Jian first. With a thought, 2 swords, 1 black and 1 white, appeared in his hand. Although he had not used these 2 swords yet, he could feel the faint chill just by holding them. It seems like we're going to get 2 scabbards. Then Xiao Heng looked at the White Lotus Fire again, and the scorching temperature inside seemed to melt it even through the system seal. He didn't plan to reconcile now, he doesn't have the qualifications yet. He plans to merge this fire after arriving at Doshir. Finally, Xiao Heng took out a Qilin fruit. The Kirin fruit is not big, only the size of a grape. Putting one in his mouth immediately transforms it into pure energy and enters his body. Fully utilizing his innate skills, Xiao Heng felt the immense energy within his body. I guess he's almost catching up with the 3rd grade pill. Although he hasn't taken the 3rd grade pill before, it's just that. After the medicinal power is digested, his cultivation has also reached the 4 stars of Do Ren. You should know that it has been less than a month since he broke through the 3 stars of Do Ren. At this speed, I can definitely reach the rank of dosher within a year. No. Even within 6 months. Xiao Heng's eyes flickered. Now, you can also leave Utan City in a while. After all, he has been craving purple cloud wings for a long time. After so many years of accumulation, Xiao Heng didn't believe that he didn't even have flying combat skills. Flying combat skills were precious, but at the level of Yao Lao, it was just like that. So he has no burden in his heart to take away the purple cloud wing. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Borrowing Money. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Borrowing Money. The divorce scandal has been going on for several days, and in the eyes of most people, it seems like it has been a long time, mainly unrelated to themselves. Many people just watched the excitement, who would take it to heart. Xiao Yan, why did you come to find me? Xiao Heng just finished practicing and happened to want to go out for breakfast. As soon as I opened the door, I met Xiao Yan. That, Xiao Heng, are we good brothers? I looked at Xiao Yan with confusion. Yeah. What kind of madness did you have in the early Qing dynasty? Then lend me some money. What did you say earlier? Lend me some money. No, I said the previous sentence. Oh. Are we good brothers? No, it's not. Hey, you can't do this. You're joking, you son of a clan chief, asking me to borrow money. Are you crazy? Hey. Wait a minute, Xiao Yan seems to have no money now. But I don't have any money either. I don't have the money to buy the sword scabbard yet. Wait a minute, it seems like there's suddenly a way. Xiao Heng's eyes suddenly lit up, his eyes burning as he looked at Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan was a bit disappointed that he didn't borrow money, but suddenly he noticed that Xiao Heng was looking at him with a very strange look, and he felt goosebumps standing up. What do you want? I'll tell you, I'm a performer, not a body seller. Xiao Yan hugged his chest with both hands, looking rather die than surrender. Give Xiao Yan a blank glance, this idiot. Xiao Heng said, what good thing do you think? I'll take you to find someone who guarantees money. And maybe you don't even need to pay it back. No, how can a man like me borrow money from a girl? No. Xiao Yan thought for a moment and immediately knew who Xiao Heng was talking about. He shook his head wildly, looking impossible screen rotation. Thank you for borrowing the money from Sister Suna. Don't worry, Xiao Yan will definitely repay it. If he can't afford it, he will pay for it. You guy, even though you borrowed more than me, why should I repay it? Xiao Yan looked at this shameless guy, although he also borrowed money, he was voluntary. Xiao Heng hugged Xiao Yan's neck. You guys, are we brothers? We share blessings and difficulties together. Right. Sister Suna. Watching the two people playing around, Suna didn't take on this conversation. But he said, do you want to go shopping with me? I haven't been shopping for a long time. Okay, I agree. Xiao Heng waved his hand and immediately agreed. Hey, you guy, I haven't agreed yet. Xiao Yan looked at this guy with a dissatisfied expression on his face. Just as I was about to continue mocking, a voice of laughter came out. So. Brother Xiao Yan doesn't want to go. Ah. Go. How could he dare to refuse Suna? Helplessly, Xiao Yan could only offset the debt with his own body first. Boundary line, third young master, Xiao Heng young master, Miss Suna, I am the captain of the guards personally appointed by the clan chief last year. My name is Pain. Feel free to call me if you have any questions. The Xiao family's market is still very lively, with almost everything sold, which caught Xiao Heng's eye. Unfortunately, he already has a clear purpose, so it's impossible for him to buy anything else. So it's just a casual look. Of course, it's mainly because of poverty. Hey, isn't this Miss Suna? Hee, I didn't expect to meet you here. It's really fate. I saw a slight frown on my slender eyebrows, and Sun Er looked for a voice, only to see a group of people rushing towards her. In the crowd, a young man dressed in luxurious clothes was surrounded like stars and moons. The young man was around 20 years old and had a handsome appearance, but his face was somewhat pale. With his eyes fixed on the graceful young girl not far away, his gaze was filled with an undisguised admiration. As soon as she saw that person, Xiao Suner immediately turned around and wanted to leave. Seeing Xiao Suner wanting to leave, the person immediately became anxious and wanted to block in front. Just as he was about to move, he was stopped by someone. Master Galio, teasing girls on the street is not a good thing. Xiao Yan, where are you dead? Didn't you see that Sister Suner is going to be teased? You're dead. Seeing Xiao Yan picking things at the street stall, Xiao Heng felt helpless towards this guy and wanted to kick him. My own girlfriend is not optimistic, and I want him to stand up, it's really annoying. Who knew that Xiao Yan's reaction was beyond his expectations? Xiao Yan looked indifferent and said, "Oh. I know, then you take care of it. I'll take Suner there for a walk. Suner, come, let's go there for a walk." After finishing speaking, he waved to Suner and gestured for them to go there for a stroll. While Xiao Hengyan was scolding this shameless guy, who knew that Suner seemed to say, Brother Xiao Yan. I'm here, so Brother Xiao Heng, I'll rely on you on this side. After speaking, he smiled and walked towards Xiao Yan. You three. How dare you? Galio saw the attitude of these three people and seemed to completely ignore him. The fighting spirit surged out, wanting to take action. Seeing the guy about to take action, Xiao Heng's eyes also froze. Xiao Heng, what happened? Uncle Pain walked over with a few people, staring awkwardly at Galio. Galio wanted to say something more, but the person behind him pulled him. Young master, this is the territory of the Xiao family. We are not opponents, we will find another opportunity next time. Galio looked at Xiao Yan and the others who had already walked a long way, and also at Pain and the others. With gritted teeth, he said, let's go. Xiao Heng saw that Galio had left and was not causing any trouble, after all, he was not yet a match for Galio's father. But it won't be long before he's gone, and Xiao Heng won't argue with those who are going to die. Xiao Heng, Xiao Yan and the others have already gone over there. Pain thought Xiao Heng was going to find Xiao Yan and the others, so he said. No need, let them take a look. Uncle Pain, do you know where a blacksmith's shop is? I want to go buy something. Although he didn't know what Xiao Hengyan was buying, Pain enthusiastically told him where the blacksmith shop was and even sent someone to follow along to lead the way. Young Master Xiao Heng, then I'll go back first. The person leading the way was a young man, several years older than Xiao Heng, who indeed looked old-fashioned and didn't even say a word to Xiao Heng along the way. You go back. Tell Xiao Yan and his team that I will be back a little later, so there's no need to wait for me. Okay, young Master Xiao Heng. The young man nodded, indicating that he knew. As soon as he entered the blacksmith's shop, a wave of fire surged in his face. There was no reception, inside was a middle-aged man making iron. When he saw Xiao Heng enter the shop, he immediately stopped his work and welcomed him. Young master, do you need any weapons? My weapon is the best in the entire city of Utan. I don't want weapons, I need 2 scabbards, he said as he took out the black and white Xian from the system space. The blacksmith had also seen Na Jia and was not surprised. These 2 swords are probably at least of the Xian level. Can I take a closer look at these 2 swords, young master? The blacksmith was a bit frightened. When he saw the black and white Xian, he immediately became excited. He had never seen such a good sword in a long time, and even his father seemed to be better at crafting weapons than these 2. Xiao Heng made a gesture of invitation and then quietly watched the blacksmith carefully examine the two Bingjian swords. After a while, the blacksmith was pleasantly surprised and began speaking, "I have never seen a sword with such craftsmanship before. This is the best sword I have ever seen in my life." After a while, Xiao Heng finally spoke up and said, "So, can we do it?" It's not that Xiao Heng wanted to interrupt him, it's just that his appearance kept him watching, and he probably could watch it all day. "It's possible, it's just." Seeing the blacksmith hesitating to speak, Xiao Heng spoke up and said, "As long as you can do it, money is not a problem. Can you first tell me how much it will cost?" "About 5,000 gold coins." The blacksmith also blushed a bit and seemed a bit embarrassed. Mainly based on the consumption level of Utan city, if he knew that hitting 2 scabbards would cost 5,000 gold coins, he would laugh to death, but he really didn't want much. "No problem, how long will it take?" "I know, maybe I was a bit exaggerated, but if I had to match these 2 swords. You know, it's okay." The blacksmith looked at Xiao Heng in surprise, he didn't expect him to agree. "Boss, I'll pay you a deposit of 2,000 first. How long will it take to get it?" Xiao Heng was too lazy to talk nonsense and said directly. The blacksmith paused for a moment and then said seriously, 10 days, give me 10 days. I will definitely satisfy you. Leave 2,000 gold coins and Xiao Heng walks in the other direction. By the time the boss finished measuring all the sizes, it was already noon, mainly because the boss had measured them too carefully and didn't miss any corner. Even Xiao Heng is running out of patience waiting. Ah! Finally done. It's time to go to the middle auction house next. The things he wants to buy next directly affect whether he can have money in the future. Pinching the card that Sun Er gave him this morning, he immediately felt confident, otherwise. To be honest, he really doesn't have the confidence to enter the middle auction house. "Hello, welcome to middle auction house. May I ask if you want to buy or sell?" As soon as Xiao Heng entered the door, a pretty girl came over, obviously well trained. "Buy." Xiao Heng said. "This way, please." The girl led the way, twisting and turning. To be honest, Xiao Heng couldn't turn his eyes a bit. He admitted that he had reached puberty. Xiao Heng was taken to a room where a middle-aged man was sitting on the table. "Please take a seat, young Master Xiao Heng. I wonder what he wants to buy." In the city of Utan, he has still gained some recognition in the past 2 years, so it's not surprising that middle-aged men know him. "Thank you." Xiao Heng sat down, said thank you, and then took out a piece of paper. "I have everything I need on it. Do you have it in stock?" 100 wisteria flowers, 80 white fruits, 50 alum plants, 80 sui plants, 20 green apples, 10 magic cores. And there is also a 2-mouthed cauldron, and a low-rank receiving ring. The middle-aged man slowly finished reading everything on the paper before speaking up. "Young Master Xiao Heng, what you're looking for is not cheap. I wonder if young Master Xiao Heng is right." The middle-aged man didn't speak freely, to the point where he had some doubts about Xiao Heng's financial resources. After all, Xiao Heng is just an adopted child, and it's a bit difficult for even the legitimate young master to take out this money. "You don't have to worry about this, I'm still here. As long as you bring the things over, it's up to you whether you can pay or not." "Right." Picking up the tea on the table, Xiao Heng took a gentle sip. Then calmly speaking. The middle-aged man stood up and said, "Young Master Xiao Heng, please wait a moment. The things will come soon." Xiao Heng didn't answer, he just took another sip of tea. "Xiaoman, take good care of young Master Xiao Heng." As he was leaving, the man didn't forget to remind the maid. In another magnificent hall, there was a woman dressed in purple, who looked young, at most 16 or 17 years old, but her proud figure had already surpassed countless people. Looking at Xiao Heng's list. Interesting, the child picked up by the Xiao family. Interesting. So, what do you mean? At this moment, the middle-aged man who had just received Heng was respectfully reporting the situation to the woman. It seems that this woman's identity is not simple. Give it to him. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Medicine Refining Technique. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Medicine Refining Technique. Young Master Heng, this is what you want. It's all in the ring. The middle-aged man respectfully handed Heng a black ring. The low-level Na ring does not have the function of recognizing the master. As long as you input Duki, it can be used. Heng roughly looked at it and found that everything was basically complete. With Maitel's credit, he would not be lacking in this kind of thing. Alright, everything is ready. Swipe your card. Take out a purple card and hand it to the middle-aged man. The man took the card from Heng's hand. Saying, "Sorry, young Master Heng, please wait a little longer." Returning to the Xiao family, it was almost dark. Heng took out a ring from his chest and understood the principle of not revealing his wealth. He was not afraid of trouble, but it was still best to have no trouble. Closing his own door, Heng took out some medicinal herbs and cauldrons one by one. The innate skill operates, and the fighting chi flows into the medicine cauldron to form a milky white flame. This may be due to the innate skill, as the flame color is different and seems much gentler. Perceive the slightest wooden attribute in your body, and then inject it into the medicine cauldron. A third-grade alchemist is not as good as an old medicine expert, but what is better than an old medicine professor is that he receives everything, including some refining techniques and some problems that must be discovered after a long time of refining. He knows all about them. The content transmitted by the system has a benefit, as it does not allow you to learn directly, but it is as if someone has already used it and your body has already done it. In this way, learning is generally not a problem. As for what kind of training one can achieve, it depends on oneself. As the trace of wood attribute was injected into the medicine cauldron, the originally raging flames slowly quieted down. According to the setting of Duki continent, a person can only have one attribute, but there are very few people who can have the second attribute. Heng is different from them, as he has all attributes in his body. That is to say, he can cultivate any attribute of martial arts and combat skills without any obstacles. Soul power penetrated and carefully sensed the changes happening inside the medicine cauldron. Heng began to slowly put herbs into the cauldron. Wisteria flowers, white fruits, and alum grass. What he is currently refining is a common healing potion that has hemostatic and healing effects. Wisteria, a tenacious vine with strong vitality, can grow from a seedling to several tens of meters in just 1 year. Alum grass has a hemostatic effect, while ginkgo is a neutralizing agent used to fuse two drugs. He can fuse two drugs together, combine their advantages, and form a medicinal solution. Through the transmission of knowledge through the system, Heng's current state is as if his brain already knows how to handle this thing, but has not done it before, so he just needs to make these things in his mind. As the sound spread, the medicinal herbs inside the cauldron also turned into a ball of ash. The flames are too big. Not enough time for roasted ginkgo. Fusion is too urgent. Heng failed time and time again. But every time he fails, he can accurately explain why he failed. Until 30.2 times. Heng looked happily at the green liquid in the bottle. Ha ha ha. I just said this thing is not so difficult. Based on the current price, this small bottle can be sold for at least 200 gold coins or more. Alchemist. It is indeed the wealthiest profession in Duki continent. Continue. It's all time traveling, and Heng's spiritual strength is not bad either. At least he will never be worse than Xiao Yan the next day. Heng looked at the light outside the window casting in, and then looked at the medicine on the table. Closing his eyes, he continued to cultivate. His fighting spirit was almost exhausted and his spirit was also very tired. This was the result of taking a break midway. However, all of this was worth it. After 32 failures, he failed a total of 5 times midway, which can be said to have a very low failure rate. At this pace, it is estimated that in 3 or 4 days, he will be able to officially start trying to refine a quality pill. This is also the reason why he passed on all the inheritance of the third-grade alchemist. As long as he fails, he can find the reason and correct him, which gives him the capital to quickly improve his pill completion rate in refining medicine. By the time he felt his fighting spirit and energy had fully recovered, almost 2 hours had passed. It seems it's time to learn from Xiao Yan and find a more secluded place. Although he is relatively quiet here, he is still in the center of the Xiao family. He used to be okay, but now if he wants to refine medicine, he must find a more secluded place. Entering the back mountain of the Xiao family is the Warcraft mountain range. It seems like you can go and take a look. But since he wants to go out, he needs to purchase some more supplies, so he can't be empty-handed. Taking back all the medicinal liquid and receiving the ring, Heng walked towards the Jiafang market and prepared everything he needed. Heng then began walking towards the back mountain of the Jiafang. To be honest, there are quite a few cliffs in the back of the Xiao family's mountain. I found a cliff that is 30.40 meters long, took out a rope, tied it to a tree, and slowly climbed down. Almost in the middle, Heng pulled the rope with one hand and took out his sword with the other, brushing it. With just a few swords, a platform was created for people to stand on, and then the swords continued to be used for excavation. In no time, a space of 30 to 40 square meters was opened up, with only 1 meter of space left at the entrance for him to cover up. With a strong pull on the rope, it flowed down smoothly. I used the rope just now because I was afraid of any unexpected situations, but now it should be fine. He doesn't need it anymore, and it's easy to be noticed if he keeps it. Blocking the entrance with a nearby branch, Heng sat cross-legged on the stone bed and began practicing. Then at night, they started refining medicine again. He made rapid progress. On the 4th day, he developed a pill. Although he only developed 1 pill, it was not bad. But now there is a problem, which is that he has used almost all the medicinal herbs, and eating them is not a big problem. Every day when he goes out to practice swordsmanship, he can pick up some wild beasts. What's going on? It's time to go out, it's not good to leave for too long. He didn't notify anyone when he came, so if he didn't go back, the Xiao family would probably have to send someone to find him. Heng finished packing up and was ready to go back, but when he walked to the courtyard door, not far away, he saw a person standing at his doorstep. Heng walked over. "Xiao Mu, what are you doing here?" Xiao Mu has also changed a lot compared to 3 years ago, but his relationship with Heng has always been good. In the Xiao family, besides Xiao Yan, Xiao Mu has the best relationship with him. As for the rest of the Xiao family, that's all. Xiao Mu saw Heng and immediately said happily, "Brother Heng, you have finally come back. I haven't seen you for several days, so I thought you had an accident." After saying this, he felt embarrassed and touched his head. Heng smiled and said, "What can happen to me? I just went out to practice for a few days. Don't worry. Let's go. Go in and sit down." The two of them entered the room and sat down. Although he hadn't lived for several days, the room was still clean and tidy. It seemed like someone had cleaned it for him. "What's wrong, Xiao Mu? What's up with coming to me?" "In turn, it's actually nothing. It's just that I haven't seen Brother Heng for a long time, so I just wanted to come and see him. I envy him so much. He's already at the 8th level of Dou power, so it shouldn't be long before he can break through the Dou man. Unfortunately, I'm only at the 5th level, so far away from Brother Heng." Heng could see a strong envy in his eyes. However, Heng couldn't help him either. He didn't have the elixirs that Doja could use before, and as for other martial arts, he had to practice them after Doja. I can only console myself and say, you're also good, even better than some of my peers in the Xiao family. If you continue to work hard, there's a chance you'll catch up with me. Upon hearing Xiao Heng's praise, Xiao Mu felt embarrassed and touched his head. Xiao Heng was the person he admired the most, with high talent and intelligence. Brother Xiao Heng, I will work hard. Xiao Mu said seriously. Then I'll wait and see. Let's do this. When you break through the fighter, I'll give you a gift. Brother Xiao Heng, are you going to give me a gift? Okay. I will definitely work harder. Xiao Heng quite likes people like Xiao Mu. He doesn't have so many small thoughts and is honest. Unfortunately, whether it's in his past or present life, this kind of person usually doesn't get along too well unless he's unlucky. The two of them chatted for a while again, from the recent interesting events to some scandals that didn't happen in Utan City. And then to the ideal and future. About an hour later, Xiao Mu said goodbye and left. At this moment it was almost afternoon and Xiao Heng no longer continued his cultivation, but came to Jiafang City. Boss, have a large portion of mixed grain noodles. Upon arriving in the neighborhood, Xiao Heng walked straight into a noodle shop and picked a spot by the window. This noodle shop is the best in the city of Utan, at least he thinks it's quite delicious. Alright. A large bowl of mixed grain noodles. The waiter skillfully shouted to the kitchen. Then I picked up a pot of tea. Tea is not considered good tea, but it can also be enjoyed. Speaking of which, the cuisine of Duki continent is not less than in the past life. Although there are fewer varieties, the advantage lies in the good ingredients. The things here, even a single grain of rice, are much more fragrant than in the past life. If it weren't for cultivation being the mainstream, Xiao Heng would have wanted to open a hot pot restaurant here. Pour a cup of tea and slowly wait for the noodles to arrive. There are many people today, and more than 10 tables are filled with people. Here, 2 more people walked in, 1 man and 1 woman. The man was dressed in blue, and the woman was also wearing a red dress. Look at that woman, she's not very old, but her figure is also good. The 2 of them are the young masters and ladies of the Xiao family, Xiao Ning and Xiao Mei. As soon as the 2 of them come in, the waiter welcomes them. Got it. 2 of you, this way. I was originally planning to say that it would be invited here, but my eyes scanned, but there was no table left. Sorry, 2 distinguished guests. We don't have any seats available at the moment. May I know if... Before he could finish speaking, Xiao Ning interrupted him. Pointing at Xiao Heng's table, he said, "No need, let's just sit there. Is that okay?" Xiao Heng. Feel free. Xiao Heng didn't mind. Xiao Ning sat down with Xiao Mei and finished ordering. Looking at the guy sitting opposite me, a wave of anger surged in my heart. It was this guy who was pressing my head everywhere. Xiao Mei also saw Xiao Ning's thoughts. Coincidentally. This is Xiao Heng's face. He turned his eyes and sneered, "Xiao Heng, only eat noodles. Are you out of money? Do you want us to lend you some? We are all surnamed Xiao. Don't be polite." The children are really childish, but Xiao Heng didn't argue with them until now. The future is different, there's no need. He said lightly, "No need. I'm not that short of money yet. But if you need money, you can ask the person next to you for it." After finishing speaking, I took a pair of chopsticks and started eating noodles as if nobody was around. You. Xiao Mei also recognized what Xiao Heng meant and frowned. Although she did have this thought in mind, being directly spoken by Xiao Heng made her feel less comfortable. Xiao Ning, look at Xiao Mei eating too much. There was no intention of standing up for Xiao Mei, but instead, he said, "Xiao Heng, when do you have time? Let's have a competition. Do you want to compete with me? Don't cry if young Master Xiao Ning loses then. As for time, let's take the next morale test." I think young Master Xiao Ning also wants to defeat me at that time. Hee. Although he didn't care about these two little brats provoking him, Xiao Heng didn't want to get used to them. Okay. Then let's take the test next time. Don't miss it then. It seemed that his goal had been achieved, and Xiao Ning's face also showed joy at this moment. He had already thought of the scene where Xiao Heng was defeated by himself. He wants to tell everyone, he is the strongest genius of the Xiao family. Don't worry, Xiao Heng perfunctorily gave him a moment, and he started his own big business of eating noodles. It's just abusing vegetables, but it's not as important as him eating noodles. Watching Xiao Heng leave behind, Xiao Mei's eyes flashed with worry. Is Xiao Ning really a match for this guy? No, Xiao Ning has been longer than this guy in terms of mastering combat skills and breakthrough time. There is no way he will lose. After leaving, Xiao Heng first went to buy a black robe and had to go to the Meitel auction house to deal with the medicine he had been practicing for the past few days. It was not a good thing that he was exposed too much at once. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Auction, Sword Sheath 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6 Auction, Sword Sheath 2. Sir. Are you buying or selling? Entering the middle auction house, the same lines are spoken by different people. But the same thing is that they are all beautiful blooming girls. Sell, buy something. Xiao Heng lowered his voice, he didn't want to be exposed so quickly. Okay, please come over here. In a separate private room, the middle-aged man from last time walked out again. Hello. What are you selling? For strangers, middle auction house doesn't have much respect. At least, they are also one of the top 10 families of the Gamma Empire. Last time Xiao Heng came, it was the same. But they should have a slightly better attitude towards him. After all, the Xiao family is also considered a local leader. Xiao Heng's mind twitched as dozens of bottles, big and small, appeared on the table next to him. And when the middle-aged man saw so many bottles, he was instantly surprised. In the city of Utan, it wasn't necessarily the alchemist who could come to buy medicine, but the one who could take out so many medicines all at once must be the alchemist. In an instant, the middle-aged man thought of Xiao Heng's identity and his attitude immediately became respectful. Sir, I'm sorry, I'll switch to a private room for you right away. Xiao Heng shook his head and said, no need, that's it. The medicine in the bottle is called Hui Lingyi, which can be considered a first-grade pill. And this, Hui Chun Dan, a first-grade pill. How much do you estimate it to be? Here in Utan City, anyone who can practice medicine is an alchemist. After all, no one knows how to refine medicine. Upon hearing Xiao Heng's words, the middle-aged man was still guessing his identity and said calmly, Sir, please wait a moment. I saw him immediately take a medicine liquid, then take out a needle, stir it in the medicine liquid, and then take it out and carefully observe. Although he doesn't know how to refine medicine, these low-level medicinal liquids can still be distinguished. After checking the medicine, the middle-aged man picked up the last spring revival pill that Xiao Heng had taken out and carefully examined it. Then put the pill into the bottle again. It is indeed a first-class pill. Sir, this first-class pill can be sold for 5,000 gold coins, while the spring revival liquid has a total of 63 portions, and can be sold for 300 gold coins per portion. How do you think it's possible? Sure. It's similar to Xiao Heng's expected price, even slightly higher. It seems that the other party is trying to establish a good relationship with him, so they have slightly raised the price. Then, sir, please wait a moment. I need some more things, can you take them for me? The money will be deducted from there first, and if it's not enough, it will be deducted from here. Xiao Heng said, taking out a receipt and a purple card. Yes, sir. Middle-aged man, take the order and purple card. Received all the medicine in the ring and respectfully left. After a while, the middle-aged man returned again, but this time he didn't come back alone, but with a young girl. There were 3 people behind him holding the things Xiao Heng had just purchased. Ye Fei. Xiao Heng recognized the young girl, but remained silent. Ye Fei smiled brightly, holding Xiao Heng's purple card in her hand. Hand Xiao Heng's card with both hands and say, "Sir, this is your card. Your belongings total 24,000 gold coins. What you need is 38,000 gold coins in total. The extra money has been deducted from this card." Okay. Xiao Heng responded and took the card. "Take back the things and put them in the ring. And then prepare to leave." Before she could even get up, Princess Ye Fei said, "Sir, we'll have an auction next time, and there's a lot of good things inside. I wonder if you're interested." With a seductive smile on her face. Seeing Xiao Heng's heart flutter. This woman is indeed with a fairy. It gives people an impulse to conquer. Looking at this woman, Xiao Heng thought to himself. But at the auction, you can also take a look. Thinking of this, he said, "Okay, please arrange a seat for me." Upon hearing Xiao Heng's agreement, concubine Ye smiled and said, "Sir, please come this way." Xiao Heng stood up and walked forward, with Ye Fei following behind. There are no private rooms at the auction. Xiao Heng only picked a slightly lower position, and this kind of auction rarely has anything he likes, and even if he likes it, he can't afford it. Don't look at that purple card, but in that card, which is only 100,000 gold coins, it has already been spent 40,000 or 50,000 yuan, not much. Besides, don't you have to repay the borrowed money? As for Princess Ye Fei, this fairy left halfway without accompanying him. Normal, he's not qualified yet. Ye Fei probably just came to see what this medicine refining master looks like. A first-class alchemist is not worth her effort. Xiao Heng sat in his seat, and people began to enter the auction one after another. Xiao Heng also saw that Xiao Zhan, Jia Lai, and Oba family leaders had all arrived. That black robe. Can't it be Xiao Yan? It should be, that figure shouldn't be wrong. Although Xiao Yan was not the only one wearing a black robe, judging from his figure, Xiao Heng was already 70.8% certain that it was him. Building foundation spirit liquid. That's it. Seeing Xiao Yan, Xiao Heng immediately thought of what he was here for. In no time, the auction officially began, and Princess Ye Fei stood on the stage, dressed in a red qipao, perfectly outlining her figure. It has to be said that when this woman stands on stage, it is her most charming moment. The livestock below were staring at her with burning eyes, eager to eat him in one gulp. The first item to be auctioned off was still the foundation building spirit liquid. Without any accidents, it still fell into the hands of Xiao Zhan. Later on, we continued with the routine, without much surprise, until the appearance of the final wind curl decision, the whole scene officially began to boil. However, although it was boiling, only the 3 major families were competing, and the others, if they didn't have the financial resources, would they not be able to hold on even if they fought for it? The auction of the Battle of the Wind was successfully auctioned off by Captain Galabai. With the final hammer falling, it was officially announced that the auction was over. In fact, Xiao Heng also wants that volume of martial arts. If there is one, maybe it can be integrated with innate skills and upgraded. Xiao Heng was the last to leave the auction house, he was too lazy to squeeze with those people. As soon as Xiao Heng left the auction house, Xiao Yan, dressed in a black robe, walked out. Looking at the black-robed man who had already walked away in front of him, Xiao Yan's eyes flashed with shock. "Teacher. You say, that person is Xiao Heng?" "Yes, it's Xiao Heng, and his cultivation has reached the 4 stars of Doja. After almost a month of cultivation, Xiao Heng's cultivation has also reached the 4 stars of Do. Although his innate skills are peaceful and can help him control his breath, they are naturally hard to hide in the eyes of old monsters like Yao Lao." And the reason why Xiao Yan was shocked was not only because of Xiao Heng's cultivation, but also because Princess Yafei just told him that that person was also an alchemist, which is why he was so shocked. Shaking his fist, Xiao Yan also left from a distance. And Xiao Heng, after leaving, did not expect so much. After returning to the Xiao family, he did not go to the cave again. The sword scabbard should have arrived in the next few days. He instructed the person to send it directly to the Xiao family after it was done. Xiao Heng returned to the yard and took out 2 Bingmu swords, each holding one on each side. In the Duki continent, the use of swords seemed very rough, at most only sword energy, without sword intent. He just wanted to practice sword intent now. Although he could practice sword intent in the Zongheng swordsmanship, there was no specific way to practice it. On the sword intent page, there was only a heart character, and Xiao Heng did not understand what that heart character meant. He could only practice and see for now. For the past month, he has been practicing swordsmanship for 3 hours every day, then practicing martial arts for 1 hour, and the remaining time is spent refining medicine and practicing. He has almost no rest time, he is naturally lucky, and his current cultivation may not rely entirely on the former. Closing his eyes, Xiao Heng carefully felt every sword he swung. According to the vertical and horizontal swordsmanship, each sword is used up with all its strength, a set of swordsmanship is used up, and then repeated until the strength is exhausted. 3 hours later, Xiao Heng was panting heavily and sweating profusely on his forehead. Running errands and sitting on the bed, taking out a Qilan fruit, swallowing it down, and then starting to exercise the innate skill. He hasn't refined medicine, so in the Xiao family, it's better to be careful, after all, not everyone in the Xiao family thinks he's good. The next day, I started practicing basic martial arts first. With each punch and kick, I was full of strength, and occasionally there was a sound of air breaking open. He probably has the power of Huang Jiado technique with every move he makes now. He found a problem. If the fighting skills of Duki continent are to concentrate the fighting energy, use a special method to increase its power, then his martial arts and swordsmanship are to release the fighting energy in a more exquisite way. Each move is a fighting skill, and of course, there are occasional big moves. But most moves are like this. It can be said that there was not a big outbreak, but the victory lies in persistence. There is no distinction between the two, it all depends on who uses it. So, 3 days passed again, and the sword scabbard that Xiao Heng had been longing for finally arrived. Young Master Xiao Heng, someone outside is looking for you and says it's your thing. Early in the morning, an old man in black came to call Xiao Heng. Alright, I got it. Could you please bring him in, Manager Mo? Yes, young Master Xiao Heng. In no time, the old man in black walked in with a strong man. It was Mr. Wang who was holding 2 sword sheaths in his hand, wrapped in black cloth. However, the strong man did not immediately uncover the black cloth. But I took a look at the old man in black who brought him in. Then, young Master Xiao Heng, I'll go down first. The butler Missouri also wisely left. He had the insight to let the butler of the Xiao family go for decades. That Mo butler, please trouble you. Only when the old man closed the door did the strong man solemnly uncover the black cloth. 2 sword sheaths, the sheaths are antique wood colored with silver-white patterns mixed in. The sheath head and sheath tail are both wrapped in silver metal. Besides, there is no modification. I saw Xiao Heng take out the black and white xian, take the scabbard, and insert the 2 swords into it, tightly sewn without any gaps, yet it does not affect the extraction of the sword. Seeing this situation, both Xiao Heng and the strong man showed satisfied smiles. The system panel appears, obtaining the sword scabbard, yellow level advanced, can be upgraded. After being happy, the strong man began to introduce 2 sword scabbards to Xiao Heng. Young master, these 2 scabbards are both of the yellow rank, with 100-year-old iron and wood scabbard body, and 100-year-old refined iron scabbard head and tail. When refining, I also added a first-rank golden tiger and a wooden wolf demon core. It's a pity that my skills are limited, otherwise I would definitely be able to forge them into the mysterious rank. At the end, the strong man also showed a regretful expression. It's okay, I'm already very satisfied. Heng smiled with satisfaction. It turned out that he had also added a magic core, no wonder there were such silver-white patterns. Heng was indeed very satisfied and happily paid the remaining amount. Swords all require scabbards. Young master, this is for you. You should have used it. That. Thank you, Mr. Wang. Heng was not polite, with 5,000 gold coins. Apart from the raw materials, he could at least earn 1,000 gold coins. That's not necessary, I'm also happy to be able to make these 2 scabbards. After Boss Wang left, Heng immediately carried 2 swords on his back, and in the end, he gave a small thing that could carry the swords on his back. Walking to the water tank, Heng looked at himself with a sword on his back and had to say, handsome. It looks a bit like Li Xiaoyao. Heng has short hair, although long hair is more handsome, short hair is more convenient, so he has not kept it. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Leaving Utan City, Black Shop. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Leaving Utan City, Black Shop. Time always passes quickly, it has been more than half a year since Xiao Yan's recovery. And Xiao Heng's cultivation has also reached the peak of the 9-star Dou Master, almost breaking through the Dou Master. And the cultivation of an alchemist can also proficiently refine ordinary 3rd-grade pills. Open the panel. Xiao Heng silently recited in his heart. Host. Xiao Heng cultivation. 9-star fighter cultivation method. Congenital skill, Xian level advanced, fighting skills. Basic martial arts, intermediate level of the Xuanjia level, vertical and horizontal swordsmanship, advanced level of the Xuanjia level, skill point. 329 energy point. 698. After Xiao Heng became an alchemist, his speed of making money also increased, so he bought a lot of things, fought with martial arts techniques, and recharged the system. Among them, he also obtained a low-level martial arts book of the Xian level, which integrated the 100 strikes fist and basic martial arts, making the basic martial arts become the Xian level, and added a mountain breaking strike to it. The content is to gather fighting spirit, accumulate energy, and finally burst out. The explosive power is very strong, but the successors are powerless, and there is no dark energy like Xiao Yan's 8 extremes collapse. Speaking of Xiao Yan, he is really a bit greedy for medicine. That old man is like a treasure trove. But there's nothing he can do, he can't even let the old medicine master take him as his disciple. Let's not say whether to take it or not. If he takes the initiative to find the medicine elder, he will probably be directly killed by others. That old guy is not a good person either. It should be said that those who have reached that level of cultivation have no absolute good people. Without Grandpa, Xiao Heng could only leave Utan City for now. There is still 1 year left until the enrollment of Qingshan College. So he plans to first get Ziyunyi and then refine the White Lotus Fire. Finally, return to Utan City and wait for the enrollment of Qingshan College. In this case, by the time the 3-year contract arrives, with good luck, he may be able to break through the Big Dipper Master. As the protagonist's early main storyline, Xiao Heng also wants to participate. Not to mention how many heavenly Dao points he can obtain, but the vast scene, I also want him to take a look. The vast Tagore Desert. Snake Man refreshing and refreshing, Hai Bo Dong. There is also the Sodot called Yunlan sect, he wants to go and take a look one by one. That's exactly why he came to this world, right? But before that, put your sword on your back. Xiao Heng said goodbye to Xiao Zhan first, and then came to Xiao Yan's yard. Xiao Heng, what's up? Xiao Yan has been in a good mood these days, and the improvement in cultivation has made him feel happy. Although every time I see Xiao Heng Yao Lao, I always tell him about his cultivation and get hit. However, this does not affect the relationship between the two, but rather makes him work harder. I'm leaving. Let's say goodbye to you. Also, I'll give you a gift, said the speaker. Xiao Heng took out a scroll from the ring. Horizontal sword, Xuanjie intermediate. The vertical and horizontal sword techniques can be separated, and after separation, only Xuanjie intermediate is available. He may need to take some of Xiao Yan's belongings later, so let's give him some compensation first. Although those things don't belong to Xiao Yan yet. Actually, it's not compensation either. Just a little gift for friends before leaving. Taking the scroll handed over by Xiao Heng, Xiao Yan curiously opened it. Xuanjie intermediate. Xiao Heng, you. Seeing Xiao Yan's somewhat moved expression, Xiao Heng bumped into his chest in a circle. Don't be so motherly. We are brothers. You guy. Xiao Yan just smiled helplessly when he saw this, didn't refuse, and accepted the booklet. That's right. I still have to go to Sun Er's place. Are we together? Okay, together. The two of them arrived at Sun Er's yard, and as soon as Sun Er saw them, he happily ran over. Okay. I admit that Sun Er mainly ran towards Xiao Yan. Brother Xiao Yan. Sun Er first called out to Xiao Yan, then looked at Xiao Heng's attire and asked in confusion. Brother Xiao Heng. Are you going on a long journey? Hey. Every time I see you two, I feel like I'm unnecessary. Why don't you guys get intimate first and I'll leave first? Xiao Heng pretended to leave. Xiao Yan, this thick-skinned guy, has already gotten used to Xiao Heng's teasing. On the other hand, Sun Er turned red. Xiao Heng, you. It's always like this. Although she thinks so, Xiao Heng always teases her with this, it's too annoying. After teasing the two of them for a moment, Xiao Heng's eyes said seriously, I'm here to say goodbye to you and repay the money. Although you may not need it, what you borrowed is borrowed. So accept it. Sun Er, take the purple card. He asked again, is brother Xiao Heng leaving? Is there any difficulty? Girls are always emotional. Shaking his head, no, I just want to go out and experience it. Staying in Utan City is not a problem. Brother Xiao Heng, wait a moment, I'll give you a gift. Sun Er pondered for a moment and took out a scroll. This is the advanced technique of the fire attribute Xian level. Nong Yen Ju, brother Xiao Heng, please accept it. It seems that Ling Ying has not told Sun Er about Xiao Heng's situation. Xiao Heng knew in his heart that his cultivation could hide from everyone in the Xiao family, but there were two people who couldn't hide it, one was Yao Lao and the other was Ling Ying. If Sun Er knew his true cultivation, he probably wouldn't have given him any cultivation techniques. Is Nong Yen Ju? Is the technique of sending Xiao Yan in the original work. It seems that Sun Er is really good to him. Accept Nong Yen Ju. Although Xiao Heng does not know how to cultivate this volume of martial arts, this Nong Yen Ju is also an advanced martial arts technique of the Xian level. If it is integrated with the innate skill, perhaps it can make the innate skill break through to the ground level. Although Xuanjie is already sufficient now. And when Xiao Yan saw Sun Er giving Xiao Heng a gift, he remembered what Xiao Heng had just given him and touched his nose. Helplessly, he said, hey, you two guys. Helplessly looking at Xiao Heng. Take out a scroll. Hand it over. He said, are you also an alchemist? You will use the things inside. Even if I give you this guy as a gift. Xiao Heng agreed and took the scroll. He was not surprised that Xiao Yan knew he was an alchemist. Judging from this guy's indifference, Xiao Yan punched him. You're such a fast guy. But it's okay, I'll catch up with you sooner or later. I'll wait for you in front of me. I'm really looking forward to fighting you. Xiao Heng didn't smile anymore, but instead looked at Xiao Yan with some solemnity. This is what he has been wanting to say for a long time. Xiao Yan also put away his casual look and looked at Xiao Heng. Saying word by word, me too. Two people, just look at each other like this. Something inexplicable appeared in my eyes. And the sword behind Xiao Heng also trembled. Watching the two of them look like this, Sun Er actually laughed out loud. Brother Xiao Heng, brother Xiao Yan, why don't you all be together, said cunningly, with a look of anticipation on his face. Now, I have already broken the defense for both of them. Reorganized my emotions. Alright, I should go now, otherwise I won't be able to leave today. No need to give it away, I don't like others giving it to me. Looking at the person carrying a sword and already walking in front of him, Xiao Yan shouted, don't die. Wave his hand, without turning around, Xiao Heng walked towards the outside of Utan city. And when Xiao Mu returned to his room at night, he saw a small bottle on his schedule, with a note pressed under it. It was left to him by Xiao Heng. Xiao Mu, I'm leaving Utan city for a while. The bottle is a gift for you. I ate it when I was about to break through the fighter. It should be able to give you some help. And, okay. For this younger brother who has always regarded himself as his elder brother, Xiao Heng also left the last Kirin fruit for him. And when Xiao Mu saw the content written on the paper, he tightly grasped the bottle, tears streaming down his eyes, wiping them with his sleeve. Brother Xiao Heng, don't worry, I will definitely work hard. As for Xiao Heng, after leaving Wutan city, looking at the vast world, he seemed to suddenly understand something. Double swords trembling. Although I want to quickly cultivate my sword intent, I'm not in a hurry. After all, it's useless to worry about this thing. Open the gift Xiao Yan gave himself. Hu Mai Dan, Bingxin Dan. Is that right? On the scroll, the effects of these two pills were clearly written. In his inheritance, there are also elixirs used to devour flames, but they are completely incomparable to the old ones. So it's better to use older medications. Now, his grasp of devouring the strange fire is even greater. But before that, he still needs to go to the medicine refining guild to find something. For example, Naren. Retract the scroll, open the map, and head towards Qingshan town. 2 days after leaving Utan city, Xiao Heng saw an inn. Hurry up to the inn. The name of this inn looks like a black shop. Seeing the inn name, Xiao Heng was amused. I find it interesting. Entering the inn, there are only 2 tables of people. Not too much. But it's normal, having a guest house in the wilderness is already abnormal enough. If there are more people, then it's even more abnormal. Take a look, those 2 tables are probably fighters, and the highest one doesn't exceed 5 stars. Young master, please come inside. Do you want to eat or stay? The servant bowed and looked very respectful on the surface. It seems like there is no cultivation, but upon closer inspection, it seems like a fighter. And the boss who is still calculating accounts is more likely to have a fighter. Accommodation, come in and cook some good dishes. Okay. Go to the room. A table of delicious dishes. The servant shouted. Xiao Heng sat down with a sword on his back. Although his attire was not glamorous, and the sword only revealed its hilt, it still made those people's eyes involuntarily glance towards him. Remove the sword and place it on the seat. Gently place your hand on the sword body. In no time, the servant came up with the dishes, followed by a person with a face full of flesh and a height of about 2 meters. I should also be a fighter, Xiao Heng predicted. But that person just took a glance and left. And the 2 tables next to them also spoke on their own and didn't look over here, as if nothing had happened just now. After finishing his meal, Xiao Heng returned to his room. Sitting cross-legged on the bed. Double swords on your legs. Start practicing. Until it got dark. After dark, another hour or 2 passed. Xiao Heng opened his eyes. At this moment, a total of 13 people were squatting in front of Xiao Heng's door, led by the strong man and the thin boss. So it's all a group. Xiao Heng smiled lightly and thought to himself. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Murder, Sword Intention. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Murder, Sword Intention. The skinny boss gestured to the other person, who understood and kicked the door open with a big knife. You can enter the house. But found no one on the bed. Before he could react, a silver light flashed through. The man with a face full of flesh and blood fell to the ground with a knife, his hands tightly gripping his throat, but blood still couldn't stop flowing out from between his fingers. Then his eyes were immediately bloodshot and he fell to the ground with a loud bang. And the people next to them finally reacted. I saw the skinny boss angrily shouting, "Kid, you dare to kill my second brother. I'll kill you. Brothers, go ahead." Heng shook the non-existent blood on his sword and sneered. It's really ridiculous. Then he picked up his double swords and killed a few people. And the skinny shopkeeper, holding a sword, turned his fighting spirit into a veil, and fought against Heng's sword, while others were also attacking him, but Heng didn't care. Ants can kill elephants, but their numbers are not enough. Every time Heng swung a few swords, someone fell down, but there was no wound on his own body. What kind of monster is this? How old is he? He has such cultivation. The thinner the boss, the more he fights, the colder he becomes. He has been in this industry for more than 10 years and has never failed with his cultivation as a martial arts master. However, this time, he has to admit that he fell. Even if there were more than 10 people besieging him, he did not gain any advantage, and his own people were constantly dying. What's even more terrifying is that he couldn't stop it. His every sword is so fast and powerful, and with those two swords, his weapons can hardly withstand a single sword, and then the second sword will be killed. Finally, after all his subordinates died, he couldn't hold on anymore. Resist a sword with all your might. Then, pop. Kneeling down with a loud cry, he shouted, "Spare my life. Oh. Give me a reason." Heng's sword stopped on his head. I am willing to give you everything and acknowledge you as my master. I will always be loyal to you. He is afraid of death and does not want to die. Interesting. Would people like you also be afraid? Heng smiled with a hint of mockery. Upon hearing Heng speak, the thin shopkeeper also showed a hint of relaxation, just wanting to speak again. But there is no chance to speak in the next second. Kill you, these are all mine. And besides, you don't want to die, the people you've harmed before also think so. These guys don't seem like good people at first glance, they don't hesitate to die. Slowly insert the sword back into the hilt. Heng took off the ring from the thin shopkeeper's hand and looked inside. Oh. There's nothing good, 2 cards, anonymous. Then there are some gold coins, medicinal herbs and pills, but their grades are not high. There is also a volume of yellow rank technique and 2 fighting techniques. Heng took a glance and it all turned into skill points. Skill point. 389, not bad, increased by 60 skill points. With a sword in hand, Heng walked out of the inn. Wow. Wow. The contents of his stomach vomited out and his hands began to tremble. This was his first time killing someone, but it would definitely not be his last time. After pouring a sip of water, Heng picked up his sword and walked towards the distance. Found a tree, Heng propped himself on the trunk with one hand, closing his eyes. Think back on everything that happened tonight. He vomited, his hands trembling incessantly. He was a bit nauseous, but this is a world of killing. Opening his eyes, he looked at the sword in his hand, pulled it out, and gently swung it towards the nearby stone. The stone suddenly turned into 2 halves. Taking back his sword, Heng murmured, "Is this the meaning of the sword? The sword is a deadly weapon. See your own heart, swing the sword. Is this the meaning of that heart word? When I leave Utan City, the freedom I feel, combined with tonight's sword swing, becomes the meaning of the sword. Xiao Heng likes freedom, whether it's in his past or present life, and then he will use the sword in his hand to carve out freedom. Grasping the sword tightly in his hand, Xiao Heng began practicing swordsmanship. He wanted to carefully experience this feeling and become proficient in the meaning of the sword. Jian-yi is a mysterious thing. You can't say exactly what it is or why it appears, but it just exists. Xiao Heng's sword intention is still very small now, so he needs to work harder. He found a cave and needs to stay here for a few days to practice his sword skills. The cave is not so easy to find, but Xiao Heng has fighting spirit. Just thinking about it makes it much easier to find. Division line on the top of the back mountain of Yunlan's sect, clouds and mist surround it, like a fairyland. On a protruding black rock at the edge of the cliff, a woman in a moon-white dress is forming a practice knot with her hands, closing her eyes to practice. As she exhales and inhales, a perfect cycle is formed. In the alternation of each cycle, a faint blue airflow will be emitted from the surrounding energetic air, swirling around the woman's body and continuously absorbing it into her body for refinement and storage. After the last strand of blue air was sucked into the woman's body, the girl slowly opened her eyes, and a faint green light flashed through her eyes. The green silk on her shawl suddenly disappeared without wind and flew slightly. Senior Sister Nalan, the sect leader, has returned and asked you to meet her. Master, have you returned? Take me to see her. Stop practicing, and Nalan Yanran excitedly walked towards the main hall of Yunlan's sect. In the main hall, a woman was waiting for her. She was wearing a green dress, with long hair that reached her waist, and her figure and face were all in one go. Not applying makeup, but already incredibly stunning. This person is the leader of Yunlan's sect, Yunyun. Master. You're back, I miss you so much. As soon as Nalan Yanran saw the female lead, she ran over and threw herself into Yunyun's arms, rubbing against the towering place. Make Yunyun blush a bit. Patted Nalan Yanran's head and said. Alright, let go. I already know. Nalan Yanran has just let go of Yunyun. Speaking of, master, they bully me. Yunyun smiled gently and comforted me. Alright, didn't you go to the other person to get married by yourself? By the way, that person named Xiao Heng really caught your sword. She is very aware of her disciple's strength, and it is not difficult for someone to catch her sword. However, if someone of the same age takes her sword in that way, as Guyi said, then this person's talent is very high. Master, it was just a momentary carelessness at the time. Next time. Next time. Nalan Yanran heard Yunyun ask like this. Also stuttering, blushing as he spoke. It seems like we must stab Xiao Heng to death next time. Upon hearing her own disciple stuttering, Yunyun had a rough idea in her heart. What Guyi said should be true, and then this person's talent would be extraordinary. Do you want to kidnap this person to Yunlan's sect? After seeing his disciple's appearance, he immediately gave up. Forget it, he's just a talented kid. In that small place in Utan city, it's probably just like that in the future. As for Xiao Yan, I heard that his talent has been restored. Yunyun frowned. Yanran, do you have any confidence in that 3-year agreement? Master, even you don't believe me. It seems that many people have already known about this matter recently. I also said a lot of unpleasant things. And Yunyun, although she believed in her own disciple, still had a faint concern that this matter had developed to such an extent that it was no longer a matter of two people. Moreover, even if that is Xiao Yan who cannot compete with Yanran, what if that Xiao Heng takes action? They are all of the same age, and it's difficult for Yun Lanzong to avoid the battle. Once they lose, Yun Lanzong's reputation will be ruined. So we must make Yanran have the strength to surpass that Xiao Heng. It seems that Gu He's method needs to be advanced. Yunyun thought of it. Master, why don't you believe me? Alright, Master has something else to do with Elder Guha. I need to go over there. You should go back first. Nalan Yanran pouted in displeasure and said, we have to leave again, we'll just come back. Yun touched the little girl's head and said, all right, teacher really has something to do. I'll be with you next time. Oh. All right. In Yunlan sect, Yun, as the sect leader and a woman, has not many people around her, so since she took in Nalan Yanran as her disciple, she has also been spoiled. As a result, this disciple is more like a sister's than a master. Shaking his head, he didn't care about her and went over to the side of the Danwang ancient river in 3 days. Across from Heng stands a tiger over 3 meters tall. Second level warcraft. Back tiger. Heng held his 2 swords, his milky white fighting spirit entwined around them. In the absence of advanced martial arts and combat techniques, the combat power of warcraft at the same level is stronger than that of humans. This is also an unavoidable thing, after all, the body of warcraft is much stronger than that of humans. If an ordinary low-level fighter encounters this monster on the opposite side, they will probably die under the claws of this monster. Unfortunately, Heng is not an ordinary person. Even if he hasn't broken through the dosher yet. Come on, beast. Heng is honing his sword spirit, and these rough and fleshy warcraft are undoubtedly very suitable targets. In the past 2 days, he has also killed many warcraft, and can only produce 3 magic cores. They are all second level, he's too lazy to kill first level monsters, it's boring. The monster across from him also fell into a rage, he wanted to kill this human who dared to provoke him, and then eat it into his stomach. Human flesh also has a significant impact on him. The tiger fiercely rushed towards Heng, with a pair of tiger claws pointing straight at his heart. Heng swung his double swords and fiercely struck the tiger's paw. The two clashed, making a piercing sound. Didn't it be cut off? It's really hard. Little kitten. If you miss a single hit, the tiger immediately jumps away from afar. Just now, it was just a mutual exploration by one person and one tiger. With a rough understanding of the strength of both sides, we can officially start the battle. I saw the tiger suddenly pounce at Heng again, and Heng jumped to the left to avoid it. When he jumped away, he swung his sword fiercely, leaving 2 deep wounds on the tiger's back. The tiger was injured and even more violent, trying to attack Heng time and time again, but Heng was not dead either. Try not to confront this guy head-on, but rely on your flexibility to add wounds to this beast time and time again. Only when you can't avoid it sometimes will you use 2 moves head-on. After a moment of activity, my trembling finger said, "Animal, it's time to end." Heng started to fight and twisted his special tendons towards the white sword on his left hand. The fighting spirit reached the sword and turned into a white dragon winding around it. Then, the white dragon flew past and penetrated the tiger's head. Blood is rolling out. Insert the sword back into its sheath. Heng takes out the dagger and skillfully takes out a magic core from the tiger's head. This is the 4th magic core. Cutting off a tiger leg for dinner, I will continue to go to Qingshan town tomorrow. Roasting tiger legs, Heng looked at the white moon in the sky and smiled faintly, saying, "Sorry, Xiao Yan, the purple cloud wings belong to me." End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Arriving at Qingshan town and meeting the little Dr. Immortal for the first time. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Chapter 9. Arriving at Qingshan town and meeting the little Dr. Immortal for the first time half a month later. Heng looked at the stone tablet in Qingshan town ahead. He walked in and didn't encounter anything else for the past 15 days. He passed by 1 or 2 small towns halfway through, but he just took a quick glance inside and searched for the necessary medicinal herbs. If he didn't encounter them, he would purchase some daily necessities and leave. Qingshan town is not bad. Although it's not as big as Utan city, it's still okay. This kind of town, which relies mainly on mercenaries, is definitely not as rich as Utan city, but if it comes to the level of liveliness, it may be even better, and there are also a lot of flowing goods. Next, it is estimated that he will have to stay here for a while. Anyway, it is unlikely that he will leave before finding that cave. However, only little Dr. Xian knows the specific location of that cave, and she doesn't know if she found it. If she doesn't find it, it will be troublesome. Xiao Heng's mercenaries gathered and opened a room. Although it was a bit noisy, it was beneficial for him to observe the situation. Every time little Dr. Xian went out to pick herbs, he would gather people here. He can sneak in and follow along. He hasn't been looking for the little Dr. Immortal yet. First of all, it's useless to look for him. They can't believe him. Even if people believe him, they still don't know if the cave is discovered or not. So he just needs to wait quietly. Xiao Heng has been in Qingshan town for 5 days now, and he has bought a lot of medicinal herbs in these 5 days. The medicinal materials for the Mai Hu Dan and Bing Ling Dan have also been gathered together almost. All the medicinal materials for the Mai Hu Dan have been gathered, and the medicinal materials for the Ice Spirit Dan still lack a second-level Ice Attribute Magic Core. The Gamma Empire is mostly desert and forest, so there are very few Ice Attribute Warcraft. There are quite a few attributes of soil and wood. He doesn't need it temporarily. It seems that we can only try our luck in the Warcraft forest by ourselves. If it really doesn't work, then postpone the time for refining the special fire a bit. However, based solely on these 2 pills, it is estimated that refining beast fire is almost the same. If refining extraordinary fire, it is probably much worse. Xiao Yan probably didn't expect Xiao Heng to refine the strange fire, and even if he were to refine the strange fire, his strength would not be able to produce that level of pill for the time being. But there's nothing he can do for now, and he doesn't even have Naren. His idea is to go to the Medicine Refiners Association to see, if not, he can only postpone the time for refining the exotic fire. Hey! It's annoying. Why don't the little medical fairy go searching for treasure yet? In the past few days, Xiao Heng has also been thinking about finding his own medicine, but each time they need different medicines and go to different places, he dare not ask too much. After all, in the original work, the power of Qingshan town knows that there is such a treasure trove. Although he is not afraid of any single family, if they unite. Still annoying. He will never admit the reason for his laziness. What's wrong with me? I can wait for it anyway. Why bother finding it on my own? There are so many cliffs and I may not be able to find them yet. Without evidence, why say I'm lazy? Humph. At this point, a mercenary was already quite old. Wanyao Studio is going to enter the Warcraft mountain range to collect herbs. It requires 50 accompanying personnel and a small medical immortal to accompany it. As long as the Dou Xing is above 2 stars. Xiao Heng's eyes lit up, the opportunity is here. After finally queuing up for him, the uncle saw Xiao Heng's immature face. He said with a displeased expression. Go away, kid. Don't waste my time here. Xiao Hengman clenched his fist and hit the ground in a circle, causing cracks to appear on the ground of the slate. Xiao Heng raised his fist. That's enough. Uncle was also startled when he saw the cracked ground. With this strength, at least there are 5 stars of Dou. Quickly said, enough, enough, register over there. Successfully enter the team. 50 people will be enough in no time. Of course, almost half of them are from the Wolf Head Mercenary Regiment. It seems that the young squad leader, what's his name? He really has a wicked heart. But this little doctor's immortal fate is really good, the price is not high, there are still so many people signing up. Until everyone gathered, little Dr. Immortal didn't show up. Take her maid with you. Of course, rather than being a maid, it would be better to say that Wan Yaozhai sent her to monitor. In this way, a group of people entered the Warcraft Mountains in a grand and mighty manner. Due to his age, Xiao Heng was noticed by many people. After all, He is the only one in this team who is relatively young compared to that young leader, and he is much younger and more handsome than that guy. Even the little medical fairy glanced at him, but this one glance made many people cast jealous glances, and one of the young leaders even had green eyes. See that guy's gaze. Xiao Heng let out a sigh. Hey! You must have committed your own wrongdoing. Beauty is a disaster. He had already seen the murderous intent in that guy's eyes. With his personality, he would definitely not stop fighting and take action. He must die, and then die the whole family. And Xiao Heng also carefully looked at the little Dr. Immortal. He also had a great liking for the little Dr. Immortal in his past life. And the real little medical fairy is also very beautiful. A first love face, although not like Yafei's figure, it is also good, and her neighbor sister's temperament is more to make people have a strong desire for protection. She is definitely not the most beautiful with a face, and her figure is not the best. But definitely the one who wants people to fall in love the most. Overall evaluation, it's 8.5 points. But there's still room for improvement. After all, she's still young. On the way, it was still very calm. Even if there were monsters with no long eyes, they were quickly picked up by a young leader who wanted to show off, and Xiao Heng was not given a chance to take action. However, it was also good to save trouble. Ladies and gentlemen, the location for picking medicinal herbs this time is here. We need to stay overnight here. Please take good care of the security work, and the final payment will also be settled one by one when we return. Thank you all. The soft and sticky voice of the little Dr. Fairy came out, with a smile in his speech. Although it was still green and astringent, there was also a charming taste. Xiao Yixian, don't worry, tonight's security work will be handed over to our Wolf-Head Mercenary Corps, and there won't be any problems. As soon as Xiao Yixian finished speaking, a certain young leader couldn't help but run out to brush his presence. And the others, although they also wanted to talk more to the little Dr. Immortal, saw Mu Li from the Wolf-Head Mercenary Corps speaking and didn't say much, all of them agreed. Yes, little doctor, don't worry, you can leave it to us tonight. Don't worry about it. No problem. It has to be said that a group of strong men lined up with promises on their chests still have a sense of joy. The little doctor smiled slightly and said, "Thank you all. No need to thank you, no need to be polite. Don't worry." One voice after another came out. Xiao Heng couldn't help but laugh. I can't help but think in my heart. What a bunch of licking dogs. Although Xiao Heng has always been at the back of the team, there are still many people who have noticed him based on his age and appearance, especially a young leader who pays special attention to Xiao Heng. Muley has been displeased with this kid for a long time, but he has been thinking about how to deal with him all the way. Just never had a chance. Now there's finally a chance. How did you replay him? Turning around and facing Xiao Heng, he said. That kid, why are you laughing? Do you look down on us? I've seen you don't seem like a good person for a long time. Are you following us with any malicious intentions? Speak up. This routine makes Xiao Heng want to clap his hands. With a sigh in my heart. Beauty is a disaster. Muley's actions actually turned all their attention towards him. But he still plans to reason with this guy. Thinking of something happy, I smiled. There was absolutely no intention of looking down on you. As for the purpose, it must have been there, but it had nothing to do with you. Xiao Heng hugged his hands and said nonchalantly. You. Muley said something but didn't know what to say. It's different from the plot he had planned. Shouldn't this kid be decisive and obedient to his own feet? Also, it has nothing to do with me. Isn't that just for the little Dr. Fairy? As soon as Xiao Heng said this, many people also turned their attention to the little Dr. Immortal. Some young people glared angrily, and some older people showed ambiguous smiles. Even the little Dr. Fairy blushed. Looking at the little Dr. Fairy like this, Xiao Heng is also speechless, lying in bed. I haven't thought of this layer yet. Although it's not unexpected. And Muley, seeing that Heng dared to resist him. My face turned cold. Kid, do you know what happens when you offend me? If you offend me, I don't know what will happen, but if you offend me, the outcome will definitely not be too good. Heng said nonchalantly. No one came out to speak for Heng, just an unknown mercenary. It's not worth them offending the Wolf Head Mercenary Corps. But such calm words made Muley even more angry. He was just a small mercenary. What gave him the courage to speak to himself like this? Okay. Kid, you're good. I'll give you another chance. Kneel down now and admit your mistake in front of me. I can give you a good time. Oh. Can't you save your life by admitting your mistake? I'm so scared. Although my mouth was scared, the teasing on my face still betrayed him. Kid, you're looking for death. In the midst of Muley's anger, he was about to take action with his fighting spirit. The two of them were only about 10 steps apart, and at Muley's speed, he took 2 breaths to reach Heng. Everyone didn't expect Muley to suddenly take action, but even if they knew, it didn't matter. Except for the little Dr. Immortal. Boom! The sound of fighting spirit colliding was heard, and Muley's fist was only an inch away from Heng's chest, but it was difficult to make any progress anymore. Heng's eyes froze. With his right hand, he caught Muley's fist and threw his left hand towards Muley's chest, hitting him with a punch. Blow Muley Tenjong away. Just as he was about to move on, a coquettish voice came out. You two stop. It was the little medical fairy. Converge your fighting spirit. Heng took a breath. No more words. Then walk to one side. And Muley, even if he wanted to take action, he couldn't move anymore. Heng's punch just now was not light enough for him to bear. Muley half knelt on the ground, and the members of the Wolf Head Mercenary Corps rushed over to help him. Young Captain, how are you doing? Before he could finish asking, Muley spat out another mouthful of blood. I fainted. And when little Dr. Xian saw Muley's appearance, he didn't say anything. His eyes twitched, as if he had thought of something. And the members of the Wolf-Headed Mercenary Corps, even if they want to take action, dare not take action. Even the young commander cannot accept this person's move, and going up on their own is probably just delivering food. Face is for the leader, life is for oneself, there's no need. And everyone else also pushed aside and started setting up the camp. They dare not meddle freely. For a while, the campsite became much quieter. Not even the sound of speaking is heard. The group led by Xiao Yixian also started to collect herbs, so I won't say much more. So, night quietly arrived. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Purple Cloud Wing. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10 Purple Cloud Wing Night. Except for a few mercenaries guarding the night, everyone else is already asleep. Not everyone can sneak out looking for things in the middle of the night like some night owl. Heng opened his eyes. Jumped down the tree. Murmured to himself, have you set off? You're really lucky, and quietly followed someone behind. After a while, the little medical fairy stopped and looked around to confirm that there was no one, before taking a big step towards a cliff. Along the way, I occasionally looked back to make sure there was no one around. And behind the tree, Heng chuckled, I'm quite cautious, but it's useless. After a while, the two of them arrived at their destination, one in front and the other behind. In fact, the place was not far, but the little girl in front had spared a lot of time, which is why they walked so long. Treasure. Is that you? Thanks to that guy, otherwise there wouldn't be such a good chance. The little doctor's eyes lit up. Looking down at the cliff. This place was discovered by her before when she was picking herbs, but she hasn't confirmed yet. She plans to come tonight to confirm it first, and then look for opportunities to come and pick it up later. How can we get down from such a high place? She didn't expect such an opportunity this time, so she didn't bring the rope. It's really troublesome. As soon as the sound comes out. Is there no rope? Do you want me to help you? The sound suddenly appeared, startling the little medical fairy. She slipped and fell towards the bottom of the cliff. Ah! Xiao suddenly fell down, which scared Heng too. He doesn't want to kill anyone. Especially this girl who still wants to help him during the day. Running Duki, Heng also jumped down with it. Grasp the little Dr. Immortal with your left hand, pull out your sword with the other hand, and insert it towards the cliff. But how could it be so easy? It just paused for a moment and then began to rapidly decline. Damn it! Heng cursed angrily. If this continues, both of us will die. Insert the sword into the cliff again. But it's still useless. Insert again. Heng exerted force on his right hand and forcefully pulled the little Dr. Fairy up to his chest. Xiao was so scared that he immediately hugged Heng's neck tightly, even his legs coiled around Heng's waist. Now, Heng also took out his sword with his right hand. Double swords thrust towards the cliff with force. This time, the sharp blade penetrated directly into the cliff and tightly grasped the hilt. The blade cuts through the hard cliff. Touching the two, sparks splatter everywhere. However, after 2 breaths, the two finally stopped and hung quietly on the cliff. Heng also had a lot of sweat on his forehead. He glanced at the girl in his arms who was no longer screaming but still tightly holding onto him, and couldn't help but want to tease her. Hey! Beauty, wake up and take a look. Xiao felt a pause, slowly opened his eyes, glanced at Heng, and just as he was about to curse, he felt that his feet were still empty. I jumped again and then continued to hold on to Heng tightly. Hey! Beauty, come up with a solution. This is not a solution. It's not a problem to keep hanging here. Heng also had a cheap mouth, and couldn't help but see this shy beauty. Now, the little medical fairy also forced herself to calm down. Glancing at the cliff below, he glared fiercely at Heng. I'm not blaming you, otherwise how could I fall off? Heng is also being watched with embarrassment. Well, didn't I come down to save you? His voice became quieter as he spoke, seeming to lack confidence. This girl has a really special aroma on her body. I really want to bite this despicable guy in front of me to death. She blushed unconsciously when she got so close to a man for the first time. Speaking harshly again. Rogue, bastard. Ah. This. Heng didn't say anything. Although it was the girl who took the initiative to hold her, she couldn't say anything now, cough mainly because he's quite comfortable. Cough. 2 sounds. Heng adjusted his emotions and needed to control them, at least on the surface. Yoshimasa said sternly, well, let's first think about how to get down. We're still hanging on the cliff. Looking at this despicable guy, little Dr. Immortal really wants to give him a knife, even if it means falling off a cliff. He still takes advantage of himself and has the face to talk like that. Oh my god. Stinky thug. I must kill you. But she also knows that this is not the time for revenge, and she doesn't want to die yet. I don't want to die with this bastard. Give Heng a fierce glare again. Just started carefully observing the nearby terrain. I don't know if I don't look, but upon closer inspection, I realize that this place is not far from where I found it. It's just that the cave is located below her left, making it difficult to pass. But she doesn't care about this. It's all this guy's fault now. There. There seems to be a platform, take me over. Little Dr. Xian held Heng in his right hand and pointed to the cave with his left hand. With her finger, Heng also saw that place, which was quite hidden. If he didn't look carefully, he wouldn't be able to see it at all. Nod your head. Pull out the right sword. Insert it sideways. Then he pulled out his left sword and inserted it, moving slowly like this. It's not easy to move on the cliff, let alone dragging someone. If it weren't for Xiao Heng's cultivation of the Xuanjia advanced technique, his fighting spirit would have been exhausted long ago. However, by the time he circled around, his fighting spirit would have been almost exhausted. Who? The two of them pressed tightly together and saw Xiao Heng's sweat continuously flowing down his cheeks, and his breathing began to quicken. Xiao Yixian couldn't help but feel nervous. Hello. Are you okay? Be careful. Xiao Heng's hands didn't stop, but he laughed loudly at the top. You care about me. Upon hearing that Xiao Heng could still speak poorly, Xiao Yixian also relaxed a lot and retorted, that's not it. Feeling soft on his body, Xiao Heng continued to move forward. Don't worry, I won't let you die. Get ready. Xiao Heng's last word fell and he suddenly became solemn. A surge of fighting spirit. What are you preparing? Ah. Before they could finish speaking, the two of them flew up again. You bastard. You bastard, rascal. I won't let you go even if I'm a ghost. The two of them landed on the same platform. Listen to Xiao Yixian still cursing. Xiao Heng withdrew his sword. Helplessly, he said, Beauty, why don't you get off me first and then curse? Little Dr. Xian just stopped, opened his eyes, and tentatively lowered his feet on the ground. Feeling grounded, I stepped on it twice again. Just relax now. Release the hand on Xiao Heng's neck. Standing next to me. Starting to calm down, my family sighed and cursed Xiao Heng by the way. Bastard. Stinky thug. Suddenly, Xiao Heng felt soft and left him. What a pity, what a nostalgia. I'm really cheap, and I can't bear this weight. But there's nothing I can do. We can't call them up again. Take out a blue bottle from Neji, take out a pill and throw it into your mouth. The pure medicinal power is transformed into energy, allowing the consumed fighting spirit to quickly recover. Operate the technique. The milky white fighting spirit has become solid again. Hey! What are you eating? The little doctor also calmed down. Ask. Revival pill. You can't eat it yet. Let's go. Xiao Yixian has not yet broken through the dough, so you cannot take pills casually, otherwise it will affect the foundation. And she can't bear the violent potion either. Xiao Yixian also knows she can't eat it, but she yearns for alchemists. So very curious. But it's still tough. Why can't I eat anymore? How do you know I can't eat? Hey! You said, let's go. Where are we going? Are we going up now? At this moment, she wanted to cover it up, just in case this guy was foolish. Taking a glance at the little girl, Xiao Heng still wanted to tease her. Qingshan said, look, there's a passage here that might be the cave of some expert. If it were us, we might have gotten rich. But don't worry, I'll definitely give you a share if I discover the treasure. Now, on the contrary, little Dr. Xian feels sorry. Is that right? Alright then. That shy look made Xiao Heng want to burst out laughing, but he had to hold back. Yeah. Don't worry, everyone has a share. Is that so? Thank you then. The little doctor wanted to say something, but felt embarrassed. At this moment, she couldn't say that she discovered this place first, could she? Why didn't she just say it? Let's go. Xiao Yixian looked at Xiao Heng and felt a bit embarrassed. But it seems like there's something wrong with it. Okay. You're a scammer. Push me off a cliff, take advantage of me, and now you want to swallow my treasure. You're really a jerk. Discovered, but Xiao Heng also has a thick skin. Do you have a share in this? No matter what you discover or what I discover, why don't we share it equally? Hurry up. Otherwise, someone else will find out. Little Dr. Xian suddenly remembered that her voice was not low just now. It was not far from the campsite, although it was hidden, with so many people. If anyone heard her, it would be even more troublesome to find her. Stare fiercely at Xiao Heng again. Bastard. She doesn't want this guy to take advantage. But when those people come over, she won't get anything. She doesn't look like a bad person, although helpless, there's nothing she can do. He gritted his teeth and said, "Let's go, you bastard." Seeing this, Xiao Heng could only smile awkwardly. After all, he was indeed unreasonable. He admitted that he did crave opportunities from others. Xiao Yixian walked ahead and smoothly opened the door. Looking at the scattered medicinal herbs and coins, Xiao Heng didn't rush to collect them. Instead, he walked up to the skeleton and bowed slightly. Take the key and take out the scroll on its chest. Open the scroll and a residual image appears in front of the two of them. You're useless with this, it's mine. Xiao Yixian saw a picture and nodded, agreeing. So, what about the remaining 3 boxes and those herbs? Alright. I only need that ice spirit flame grass herb, and I'll give you everything else. If there's anything in the box, open it first. Whoever needs it, take it away. Although she really wanted that herb, she couldn't beat this guy. Those poisonous powders probably wouldn't be useful to him either, so she could only say goodbye with tears in her eyes. Open the first box and a colorful scroll appears inside. The 7-colored poison classic. Throw the scroll to the little medical fairy and say, "I'm useless with this thing, give it to you." Then proceed to open the second box. It is indeed your eagle wings, and Xiao Heng's biggest goal here is this. It can give Xiao Heng the ability to fly before Dou Wang and provide great protection for his life. Maybe it won't be long before he can use it. Seeing the scroll tightly held by Xiao Heng, the little doctor couldn't help but ask, "What is this?" Flying fighting skills, a kind of fighting skill that allows people to fly to the sky before the Dou King. After listening to Xiao Heng's explanation, the little medical fairy exclaimed, "Oh," and then said, "It's yours." Open the third box. Roar of the Lion, advanced fighting technique of the Xian level. I'm useless with this, it's yours too. The little doctor fairy glanced at it and walked away without any interest to dig medicine. Retract the 2 scrolls to receive the ring. Now is not the time for cultivation. Watching the hard-working little medical fairy, Xiao Heng walked over and put away the only medicinal herb that belonged to him. A fatal question has been asked. You dug so much, how can you take it away? Xiao Yixian turned around and looked at Xiao Heng with a resentful expression. You see, there's nothing I can do. Keep an eye on, alright. Alright. Here's a ring for you. Please accept the warning, little Dr. Immortal will immediately be happy. Speaking of, don't worry, I'll return the ring to you when I go back. I casually leaned against the stone wall and said, no need, the things I took with me are much more valuable than the rings. Let's take them as compensation for you. Okay. _, the little doctor agreed. You're really impolite. So what do you think? You've taken so much advantage of me, I can't take a ring yet. She turned her head and continued to stare at Xiao Heng. How could you bring up this again? Okay. Alright, you're the biggest. That's pretty good, murmured, and the little doctor fairy continued to dig medicine. End of this chapter.